Who the heck is Pep Talks?
I'm not gay, but I fantasize about Marco Rubio. Pep Talks. Pep Talks. Pep Talks. Let's eradicate the Kung Flu. I'm literally coming. Pep Talks. Pep Talks.
Who the heck is Pep Talk?
They want our women. They want our children.
Pep Talks.
Sometimes no means yes. Grab them by the pep talk. Grab them by the Marco Rubio. Obama is a racist.
Pep Talks.
I'm literally coming. I'm
Pep
literally coming.
Pep Talks.
We found weapons of mass
Pep talks.
destruction. My fellow Americans, it has been confirmed today from Pep Talks that we are indeed all high on politics.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of High on Politics. Starting off with a bang here. I'm your host, Pep. Good to see everybody. How are you guys doing? As you guys start to file in here, you know what to do. Hit the like button. Really helps me out. And then just kind of chime in. Tell me, how's it going? Oh, man. I had a little bit of fun today. Can't really disclose too much, but I will just say that I had a good old time with some fellow creators over on this space. We are putting some stuff together. It's going to be a real good time. So, but today is, it's been a test because I'm not sure if you guys have seen the news, are dealing with, excuse me, a mass shooting at a Catholic school in Minnesota. We are still getting updates as that is going. I'll probably be getting to the news here a little bit earlier than you guys are used to cover that directly. That is the first thing we're going to get into. Then after that, Ryan Grimm and Emily over at Breaking Points had a spirited debate with Taylor Lorenz. The second that it started getting a little testy, I decided to save that for stream. So, and it happened pretty fast. Let's see what else we got going on. Oh yeah, a update on the Raja Jackson situation. It is worse, people, and it just when I thought that like the response to it was gonna be bad, it turns out to be way worse than I could have imagined. So here we are. The shooting in Minnesota. My son lives in Minneapolis, so I got the news alert. Oh geez, yeah, it was in Minneapolis, wasn't it? Yeah, this is crazy. I know that an aide to Amy Klobuchar, one of their children, was at the school. It is you know what? I really should just go into this because they tackle the desensitization, like how people are just desensitized to all this, and it's insane. It's insane the way that like I caught myself like when I read it, like I had this moment of just like, and that immediately got me where I was just like, wait a minute, what the hell was that? Like, oh, my brain's doing this thing where it's almost like expecting these things to happen. That's crazy. I have been kind of wrestling with this where I have been seeing that with all the insanity in the news lately, the way that I've been responding to just other things, it is kind of like, oh, geez. Oh, you know what? I'll say this much. We were talking about a certain subject with, Epstein, and I had this moment where I had a moment of clarity, I guess is the best way to put it, where I was just like, why are we the only ones still talking about this? What is going on? It was weird, but LT9K, welcome in. Appreciate you being here so early. Thank you, man. Welcome in, everybody. Hit that like, share, subscribe, and become a member. Look at you, man. What did I do to deserve such a cool ass mod? It's new to me, honestly, because I'm like, oh, I forget to even put that in my chat. So, but yeah, guys, that does still apply. Pinkerbell, how's it going, guys? How's everybody? How was your day? I hope you guys are having a good day. I had a good start. I watched Alien. So that was a pretty good, perfect timing. I just set my dough to rise. Nice. Oh, wait, you're baking. Hey, so all that talk yesterday, it inspire you to bake? That's pretty cool. I always like when I can bring out something in somebody where they're like, I haven't thought about going. This happened where somebody was like, yeah, I haven't really gone for a walk. I'm like, I go for walks and they really help me reset. They hit me up in chat later and we're just like, I went for a walk. I feel much better. And little things like that, guys. It's the little things. All right. So now that all of you are here, though, I do want to start. All right. So I'm going to do this real quick. I'm going to put this up. Yep, you're making cinnamon rolls. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, dang. Okay, hold on. This isn't working. Ah, man. Oh, never mind. My whole plan just went to crap because they got rid of this. Oh, never mind. I guess we'll stick to going towards the news. Lots of morning work meetings, lunchtime spent doing heavy upper body workout, and then you're keeping me company finishing work. Nice. Always like being work company. I'm glad that you guys can listen, have a good time, and I can join you in your daily activities. Now, here's the thing. The second that you go to a dispo and tell me that I am your listening material while in the dispo, that's almost meta for me, I gotta say. Man, I really did have this moment where I was like, oh, geez, am I like the Michelangelo leftists? Hello, all beautiful day here. Blue skies. Yeah, we got blue skies. Oh, little update. The pup is doing pretty good for, her condition. I think that she's, knock on wood, going to make it to the weekend, and I will be able to have a beautiful goodbye. So I think that this is as much of a blessing, and trust me, it's hard for me to use that term, but it is a blessing. It's good. It also turns out that I'm gonna have like a therapy dog, essentially. My buddy, it just worked out where he's going on vacation, and he's like, "Hey man, can you watch my dog?" I'm like, "Yes." Yes, I can. 10,000% I can. I'm going to need all the hugs and kisses from the puppers because, yeah. Now let's see. Will this work now? Streamlabs, I swear to God. Every once in a while, this program is just not fun to use. Specifically when that's not working. Aw, pupper, I lost my 18-year-old mini Dachshund. I always say it wrong. Dachshund, yes. Last year, one of the hardest things I've ever, but my wife's dog was a big help. Okay. It is, man. And I'm sorry to hear that. 18 years. Wow. I think you may have just given me an idea for what the next breed of dog I'm going for. 18 years. I can say right now with certainty that my dog, she is 15 and about a half. And my vet is, they call her the wonder dog because she's, she has not been in the best of health. She has Cushing's disease. She has a thyroid problem, and she still made it to 15 and a half. So I have to say, I, again, don't like the term blessing all that much, but how else can you explain that? But no, I appreciate that, Alex. Thank you. Also, yeah, everybody say hello to Alex, Devil's Advocate Productions. If you guys have not already, go and follow. If you guys do not remember Alex, we had a discussion here on Pep Talks. It was a good time. We discussed the South Park episode, which we need to do again. So sorry to hear that, but just know the love is here. Aw, thanks, guys. Like, seriously, I'm so lucky to have, like, such a supportive community, and just in general, like, be part of, like, a very supportive community of content creators. If you guys don't already follow this space, for real, like, what are you doing? It is one of the greatest spaces online. I might be biased, but all right. Now, I'm breaking tradition here. This is kind of a big deal to me because I like to, kind of go slow with the news here, kind of have some fun, hang out for a minute, maybe celebrate oh, wait a minute. You know what? I won't break decorum that hard. I want to at least make it for the 420. So we'll do that. Then we will do news because, yeah, things are, I'll put this the best way that I can. It's a bummer, dude. Jeez. Back to what I was saying about the whole way that I reacted to it. Is it also, this is just bothering me personally. The minute that, with everything going on with Trump and him calling in the National Guard and talking about crime, how this immediately, this is I went to Alex Jones brain. I'll just admit it. I literally went to just oh, so is Alex Jones going to be well, this is definitely, or is this the moment that he conveniently learns his lesson? And now it's all of a sudden they need to do something. I don't know, man. This reminds me of that. I don't know the quote directly, but I do remember that Benjamin Franklin said something about that, where if you are willing to give up your liberty for safety, then you deserve neither. Yeah, starting to think that way. Kind of messed up though. I have to be honest. I got mad at myself. I reevaluated. I sat down and just went, Jesus. Is this your brain chemistry changing to this? Because if that's the case, that should scare the hell out of you and anybody else that feels that way. I talked it out and then realized I'm no, that's exactly what this is. It's at some point, that's what desensitization is, that's the word. That's what it is. And at some point you have to realize that it's oh, this is wrong. This is so wrong. But what's going to happen? Thoughts and prayers. What's going to happen? I don't know. Not an actual response that's going to curb any of this. It's going to... Jesus. Watch. I never mind. I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there because it's a Catholic school. Immediately I was just oh, here we go. Here we go. And also, love how the Christians, and I have brought this up before, they will always do this where they will shun the Catholic Church, if there's, a certain scandal going on with priests, which, by the way, if you want some interesting little tidbits on that one, Trump did put a policy, he instituted a policy that now they don't have to do internal reports anymore. Cool. That whole Jeffrey Epstein thing that we talk about, and him with the pedos, he really goes out of his way to protect pedos, and it's getting kind of insane. But I'm getting tired, and I kind of covered this a little bit earlier in something, Alex. You might already heard this, but I'm getting kind of tired of seeing the lack of consistency coming from QAnon and the people that, their whole thing was protecting kids. Where are they at? They're protecting Trump. Where do you go from where do you go from here? What do you do? Because I was wrestling with this earlier. I'm okay, so do we try to force them to care again? Because it seems like that's what a lot of us are doing. I know I've been doing it, where I'm just trying to point out the inconsistencies in their arguments. It's wait a minute. Because I've had a lot of this, especially in my comments. Well, in my Twitch chat, I should say. For some reason, Twitch chat is where all the right-wingers come up, and they're just oh, so now all of a sudden the left cares? Where were you? And that's the one thing where I kind of will admit, where it's yeah, you know what? But the thing is, for everybody asking that now, it's where are you now? Why did you abandon? This isn't the point you think it is. You've abandoned the entire thing, and now you think that the best argument for you is, where were ya? Holy care. Oh, holy care. Holy cow. They never cared. They only have the goal of pushing towards fascism. Yes. And they're doing a swimming job of it. Like, it's insane how many people want this. Like, or at least on Facebook say that they want it. But I've noticed the trend. You know, for everybody that goes on any of these, because I specifically looked at the post from NBC5 News about Donald Trump wanting to be a dictator. Guess how many fucking people I saw that just happened to fit a certain age demographic? What is it? I'm just going to say it. What is it with turning 50 and being, you know, a larger Midwestern woman that all of a sudden turns you into just like supporting a tin pot dictator? Holy fuck. I have never seen so much boomer brain poison, but legitimately, I did get to that point where I was like, this has to be lead poisoning. If this isn't the like collective lead poisoning, then I don't know. Like, no. Especially as the generation that, again, for every time that they like to point out participation trophies or talk about whatever the hell is wrong with our generation, it's like you handed us the world as it is and then said you ruined it. Yeah. Damn Pep attacking the Pogs. Larger Midwestern. This is Pog Slayer. It will not stand. I'm sorry. All right. Maybe somebody, you know, there were some strays fired there. My bad. I don't know, man. I noticed it. You know, they like one of them. I'm not gonna say their full name, but I will just say Linda. Like, she doesn't know. Like, she didn't know when to stop. It was one of those moments. We've all been there. And yeah, I kept pointing it out. I'm just like, what the hell is it? It's like white check. Like you're in the twilight of your life, you know, 60s, 70s, check. Larger, check. Upper middle class, check. Lives in the suburbs, check. Talking about the crime in Chicago. Fun. Oh, they handed us the participation trophies. We didn't get those ourselves. Exactly. Like, that's... I hate the lack of accountability for being just bad parents. And, like, that realistically is what it is. Like, if you're gonna sit there telling us how we're wrong, then that means that you fucked up, right? I love how I'm damn near 40 and I have to talk about this. It's almost like they should have given up the keys. God. When I found out the average age of, you know, a politician versus the average age of, like, my city, it is crazy to think about that, where it's like nobody my age is in power, yet we are literally who's living in the city. Kind of crazy, right? Oh, by the way, 420. Might be late. Might be a Pep Talks one, because I did not prepare. But thank you, Bloodstone. Appreciate that. This week. I watched an ember drop to the carpet. I'm paranoid now. Yeah. That's always the worst. Watch a burning ember go. You're like, oh! Raw chickens! Coming in with the internet classics. Appreciate that. Christians forgot the, yeah. The quote-unquote Christians. They really are, though. All right. Now I feel like I'm actually kind of prepared to deal with this bit of news, because again, man, just to reiterate that I did not think it was okay the way that my brain reacted to the news that there was a Catholic school shooting. I just don't say Christians with the hard R. Christians. But yeah, I think there's something to this, and there's a news report about that where it's just like the country is, it seems to be the response, because people are going on social media like immediately and saying some of the most heinous shit. So, oh my god, I forgot about that whole thing. I felt like there was some, like a really fucked up update on that. Like, was the shooter an evangelical? I don't know. I actually don't know much about the story. I kind of saved that for going through this with you guys. But as I said, I did read the comments on the story, and that's kind of where I came to this, where I'm just like, oh, guys, I'm a little scared. Like, maybe it's bots. I tend to think that way now, especially with Facebook specifically, because I think that it is just bots. They have to be. But holy crap, guys. The ones that were obviously not, even just seeing the one person, Linda, seeing her go at this the way that she was, and then just knowing it's like, you see it in their profile pictures where they literally have their kids and their grandkids there. Like, these people, like, those are the ones that think like this. That's fucked up. And then on top of it, they, like, you go through her feed, and it's all about, like, oh, the Chicago crime problem, the Chicago crime problem, the Chicago crime problem. You find out that she lives literally in the sticks, because she's also one of those dummies that puts it all out there. Gotta love those moments. Oh, you're stalking me on Facebook? It's like, I clicked your profile and literally all of it was right there. You ever think, like, maybe not doing that? How do you know? Like, of course it's Linda. Exactly. Oh my god, with the literally, like, with the perm short haircut, neck jowls and all. All right, here we go. Let's get to the news. I already pulled this up so you guys kind of have an idea.
Joining us now, NBC News national law enforcement and intelligence correspondent Tom Winter, and co-host
2 children killed, 14 children, and 3 adults injured.
Of the Bulwarks for Your podcast, and Marjory Stoneman Douglas high school shooting survivor, Cameron Kasky. All right, latest from you, Tom.
Katie, we're tracking a number of things at this hour, including in that some press conference that we're expecting, by the way, in about 20 minutes from now with police and with the mayor. One of the things that we're still trying to get a better handle on, we're still going through the videos and going through the writings. So just to describe it to folks, they're YouTube videos where there's a number of either...
Honestly, I'd assume that they went to the school at this point. Well, it's kind of like the Tennessee one.
Journals, or they look like journals, where there's a number of writings, not all of them in the English language. There's some sort of Eastern European language that's used. Some of it is in English. And this individual's writing about a whole host of things. Won't get into all the particular details, as we stated last hour.
Oh, no. They were... Oh. Uh-oh, guys. If you're Polish or Slavic and you guys are immigrants, you might want to listen up here, because...
we're not here to do the bidding of this individual so that we can basically put out the information they were hoping to gain out of this shooting, which has killed an 8 and a 10-year-old. You referenced those that are at the hospital, the kids ages 6 to 14. Some of them are in critical condition. 4 needed to be operated on. What investigators are focusing on are these videos, when they were specifically made. There's some dates that are associated with it. The bottom line messaging on this, suicidal thoughts quote, extremely violent thoughts, is how one person in law enforcement phrased it to me. There's a reference to prior mass violence attacks. There's a whole host of different writings, some of it nonsensical. There's a handwritten diagram of the interior of a church, not clear if it's this church. And there's all sorts of things that this individual is muttering and whispering under their breath. So that's the latest as far as the investigation goes. What
Is he? Are they alive or
specific ideology or motivation will be assigned to this?
We're like 1 week into the school year. Yeah, I know.
To be
Oh my God. That was some of the comments is like, where was this during the summer? And you had a lot of people just go like, oh my God, you guys really are that stupid. We're not even correcting you at this point.
determined. There are psychologists and people in law enforcement that are more
Looks like a former student. Okay.
studied and smarter than me at those type of issues. But it won't, frankly, really matter to those families or to us, because at the end of the day, this is somebody who, as the FBI's behavioral analysis unit has said, this is somebody that so fits the mold of what we see now. Somebody who is hurting and then thinks that the only best option for them is to hurt others. Obviously, I think the rest of the population
Are you talking about the president of the United States right now?
probably feels pretty differently.
Police said that there was something of a record here.
Very minor, appears to be local traffic stops, things along those type of lines.
Any
no
indication that they were alerted to this individual about having mental health issues, maybe potentially being dangerous, threatening?
Right, not so far, but that's one of the questions I think the initial press conference really focused on kind of the incident itself. And I think those are some questions that we're still asking, and hopefully we'll continue to get answers with. Some of those searches take a little bit of while. Some can be done instantly. Nothing has immediately kind of popped up on the radar in that regard, but that doesn't mean that something couldn't as more research is done. 3 weapons here used in all, Katie, what police describe as a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol. The rifle, just based on their description of it, appears to be a semi-automatic rifle along the lines of an assault-type rifle. But honestly, those weapons these days can be modified in so many ways. We don't need to get bogged down in the specific description.
Just for the record, Minnesota does have a red flag law, an extreme risk protection order, and it went into effect on January 1st, 2024. So over a year now, it allows a court to temporarily remove firearms from individuals posing a significant danger to themselves or others.
Oh. So anybody that thinks like a leftist is about to get a visit?
All right.
No, for real, guys. Wow. Holy fuck, guys.
Cameron, I hate that this is why we call you. But this is why we're calling you. We are talking about a school shooting. We've talked about so many school shootings since your school was shot, by the way, at the same exact time. What is it now, 10 years ago, 12 years ago? What do you have to say about where we are in this country?
Well, after the shooting in Parkland, what you saw was this unbelievable outpouring of support. And that was a huge part of what propelled my classmates and I to step up and say there are laws that can be passed to prevent shootings like this from happening. But the country has become a much crueler place.
We need to arm the
country has become even more desensitized to violence in recent years. I mean,
that is a Quentin Tarantino movie if I've ever seen one.
Not long ago, there were political assassinations in the state of Minnesota.
Nobody talked about him. You guys fucking buried him. It's not like MSNBC has done around the clock coverage of it. You guys buried that story as soon as it wasn't hot anymore.
People were killed.
Yeah, honestly.
In their home by somebody pretending to be a police officer.
Yep.
And that has completely left the public conversation. And
I'm so glad that he said that. Thank you.
In a way that it just wouldn't have
in
2018. So I feel for this community, and I encourage everybody to show them support, because we've gotten to a point where everyone has seen so many of these school shootings. People have seen widespread violence in so many forms across the board, and there just aren't going to be the same support systems. There are organizations advocating for gun violence prevention that also do community building for communities that face something like this. But in general, after the Parkland shooting, after Uvalde, the country had to catch its breath for a moment and showed so much support to these people who were affected. But we're going to stop talking about the shooting within the next couple days.
Yeah.
This administration.
Oh my God, to hear her go, yeah, and then kind of go.
And the nature of our country right now, there's just.
Called out.
too many tragedies on a
Sorry, I had to...
daily basis for
I'm just laughing at the fact that it's like, hey, media, you're getting kind of called on the carpet here by him. I like this
us
guy.
to give this the attention that it deserves, and it's a shame.
Yeah, there's just so much going on.
He's literally calling you, like, he's saying this to your face, and he means you, specifically this person that he is talking to.
But that doesn't mean it shouldn't be addressed. 7 years
Oh, it shouldn't be addressed? No, it means it should be addressed more with more severity. But again, you want to sit here going, why are we so desensitized to this? In other news, did you see that Taylor Swift got engaged?
ago, I'm sorry, since Marjorie Stoneman
Fucking A, man.
Douglas, the shooting. After that moment, and you touched on this a little bit, there was...
I hope so. Like, I can't speak to this because, listen, I was the first generation that had to deal with a little, like, the widely publicized school shootings. Like, Columbine happened while I was still in middle school. So, like, we didn't necessarily have live drills the way that they do now, but it is just the more and more that these kids realize, like, this is insanity. Like, why do we have to do this? You know, once they hit that age of thinking for themselves and not having their parents always explaining, like, it's not the guns that kill people, it's the bad people with guns that kill people.
A belief that your generation, as you came of age, as you started voting, as you got into the ether of participatory society, that this would be the generation to change gun laws in America, to change this culture of allowing kids.
The problem with using the MSDNC thing is, as much as it is like a good attack on it, they're one of the ones that does produce leftists. Like they platform Emma Vigeland. So here's my problem: if we're always going to like shit on like the center left platforms and then constantly just be like, yeah, we're not going to even stand up for you when they get attacked. Honest, I don't know, because like that's kind of playing into that where it's just like
to be targeted,
man,
and slaughtered and murdered while they were at school. But it doesn't seem like,
man, they suck though, because there's no denying that
we've gotten to that.
What he just said there about them just moving on from the story in 2 days, like that's the mainstream part right there that I can't stand. But
that point.
Ooh.
What do you believe?
I feel like leftist media is already getting buried enough. I'm seeing it in the algorithms. I'm seeing it on Twitch. I'm seeing it like everywhere. And then to see it happen in the mainstream too and have like us cheering for it, I'm not sure if that's good. Sorry, I should have probably been more articulate with that point.
Is the big issue, or are there many big issues, many big obstacles in your way, our way?
Well, I think the Democrats see gun violence prevention as a losing issue at this point. I mean, back in the 2019 Democratic primary, you had people like Beto O'Rourke and Eric Swalwell practically running for president on gun control. That was the primary issue they were talking about. This was something that everyone in the Democratic Party was talking about, and I think that since then we've seen this.
Apparently, they have identified the shooter. They found a manifesto kind of thing, but they're not. I don't know. For once, it seems like they're like doing the right thing where they're not platforming this, and they maybe have learned like, oh yeah, we keep causing copycats.
Shift where they.
But again, journalistically, this is the conundrum. Like, you want to know, right?
They have seen how few successful laws were able to be passed and how married the United States public is to this fantastical narrative that they're going to be safer the more guns they bring into their house, that I think a lot of Democrats have given up. And also my generation, which was supposed to bring this change in the fight against gun violence, has had our brains melted into pudding by misogynists on TikTok. So Gen Z men are now so terribly lost that I'm afraid we are going to see more violent acts by the people who are being programmed by social media algorithms to be angrier at the world, to feel more isolated. And it's something that ought to be extremely concerning. The shift we've seen in Gen Z in the past 7 years since Parkland, I can't believe that, is horrifying. And I truly believed when my friends and I were calling for change that we were going to be the generation that was able to bring it. There were some laws passed at a state level that were fairly strong, although very often guns found at crime scenes
Your dough fucked up. You had to remake it. Oh,
were purchased in other states. So state
Cinnabons down. Damn it.
laws are great, but at the end of the day, we need federal law. We need something at the national level for people to truly be safe in this country. Our generation has turned into a social media addled disaster. I still have faith in us. I still believe things can change for the better, but we're certainly not going to be ending gun violence anytime soon. We've got quite a bit more to deal with.
Mm-mm. That just left me feeling a little bit like more hopeless. He's calling out the generation that's really the one that's experienced this, and this is how they respond, by tuning the fuck out. Interesting. Move on to this. Got CNN and Amy Klobuchar chiming in.
First of all, I'm so sorry about what's going on in your own community. I know, Senator, that you have been speaking. Let's start with the human side of this, what I was just referring to.
The part that you don't get.
You've been speaking to family members, to parents of these parents.
Oh, Tinkerbell. I guess last night's show was definitely one that's, you're just like, you know what? I want to bake and have breakfast for dinner. I'm going for it. That's a Pep Talks night.
Very young children. What are you hearing?
So, first of all, I appreciate the work of the mayor. I've talked to the governor and our first responders, the hospital workers. The fact that we had a children's hospital that's renowned so nearby we want these kids to be saved. But talking to the parents is where you really, I guess, your heart just wants to break. So one of my...
No, it should break. Your heart should be shattered, honestly.
My former employee...
This is what empathy feels like. It's almost like these people get surprised when they have a little bit of it.
She was with me a long time. She said I could use her name, Kate Nyland. Her daughter, Cora, was in there. She was one of the older kids. This is a pre-K through 8th grade school. Loved school in the neighborhood, beloved school. With all the parents, and that church is right there next to it. So the kids were in the mass, and they were packed in there. And so this girl, 7th, 8th grade, literally watched her friends, some of her best friends, be shot, one in the neck, one in the stomach. And when they were running out, when they finally got out, she was the one, this child, who had to tell one of her friend's dads that the friend had been shot. And of course, the chaos that would ensue in any place when there's a mass shooting like this. And the other information, that I got from
Where are the here? You know
the
what?
mayor and others were,
What's Fox News
of course,
talking about?
consistent with what you've heard. This was a madman, acting alone. Somehow knows about this ceremony. All those facts will come out. Standing outside of this mass and shooting. One by one, these kids down as they're praying in the church.
I mean, just to hear you describe Cora, an 8th grader, 7th or 8th grader, having to tell the parent of her friend that they were shot. It's. I mean, anybody with kids, anybody with a beating heart. It's just beyond.
Right.
Do you know anything more about those more broadly who were injured, those who were killed, an 8 and 10-year-old?
Right, an 8 and a 10-year-old, and then you have a total of 19 that we know of that were hit. 17, of course, we have 2 dead right now, 17 injured. And of those, 14 were children. So there were also adults who were shot, right? There were most likely teachers or we don't know, people involved in the service. So there were also adults that were shot. And I'm sure as we hear the details on this, the stories of these people trying to get out those doors, trying to scramble underneath the pews, which is what they were told to do, to protect themselves. I know they're going to be tragic, but there will also be stories of heroism, stories of faith, stories of parents and others.
That's great.
Helping each other.
But honestly, if this turns into a she said yes thing, you guys are taking the wrong fucking lessons from this.
When
this
you
country's fucked, guys. Like, I'm serious. Wow.
Think about what happened.
How many years into these mass shootings are we? How many of them? You know, like the Parkland kids, didn't they fucking recently graduate? Like, what is, or I can't even articulate this. There are no fucking words anymore. What are you supposed to say to this?
Happened here, and the fact that he had these 3 guns, multiple guns, I believe it was something over some kind of
since 99
grievance that may not even involve.
No, I mean because they weren't as prevalent. Because there was Columbine, but you didn't hit. There weren't copycats until a very specific time. It's almost like when that assault weapons ban went up.
The school, and those facts will be revealed when the police have thoroughly investigated them. But this is a time, as the mayor said, these just aren't someone else's kids. Anyone can imagine on the first day of school, I remember this, dropping your child off to a bus or bringing them to the school, thinking they're going to be safe. It's just the most horrific thing any parent, and I know you are a parent as well, Dana, any parent can imagine.
It's disgusting. I'm literally, I'll give you my internal monologue. I'm sitting here thinking, how is Trump going to fucking politicize this?
Yeah, it sure is.
Fuck you, Dana Fish. It sure is, guys. These people, you should never should you watch any news program if they can do this. Honestly, something's broken in them.
Senator, you mentioned that I know that you
just move on.
Want to let law enforcement take the lead here, but you just mentioned that you believe that
get that piece.
This individual had some
total indifference from Dana Fash. Literally, she just went, that. Anyway, moving on.
Kind of grievance, not even related to the school.
Yeah, make sure that you keep your sad voice on, though.
Is there anything else you can share?
Not really. I just think that they have to get to the bottom of this. As you know, with these scenes, from covering so many of them, that there'll be rumors and then they're not true, and then you figure it out. But I think
this horse-faced bitch, I can't fucking even do it.
I think this image of this gunman shooting through these windows, picking off these kids while they're praying, is something that is going to be with people for a long time. When you think about guns and you think about, as the mayor said, thoughts and prayers just aren't enough here right now, because these kids were actually praying.
Yeah, I do want to listen to that, because that sent chills up my spine, I'm sure.
Oh, did it? You actually have a spine that can feel chills? That you want breaking news, people? There it is.
Everybody's spine when they heard the mayor say that. Let's listen to that moment.
Don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church. These are kids that should be learning with their friends. They should be playing on the playground. They should be able to go to school or church in peace without the fear or risk of violence, and their parents should have the same kind of assurance. These are the sort of basic assurances that every family should have, every step of the day, regardless of where they are in our country.
I mean, he's expressing something that I know you feel.
Wouldn't that be, I mean, just theoretically, wouldn't that be wild if this is the time that all of a sudden the Republicans get behind gun control and they want to actually come for your guns? Wouldn't that be wild? And all of a sudden the National Guard is there.
and most people feel, which is a combination of sadness,
Just asking questions, guys.
but raw rage. That
This rage, as you know.
forget about
Yo, Kirk.
thoughts and prayers. These kids were literally praying when they were murdered
Right.
through a
Kirk's new song just dropped. Here, I'll drop a link.
church window.
Unbelievable. And just, Jacob, the mayor, and his wife Sarah just had a second baby. So I know he knows this just gutturally of how this feels, to think of your own children in that situation. And I think part of what he's getting at here is that there's thoughts and prayers, and then the law enforcement does their job well, and hospitals do their job well, and they save some lives, and people are injured, but there's a whole room of those kids in that church that are going to never forget what happened, that hopefully they'll be able to get through it in their own lives. But you think of that in other mass shootings, it's the immediate death, it's the immediate family, but then it's a whole community, and ultimately it's an entire nation that has to grapple with the fact of we have too many guns out there right now, and there's all kinds of policy things that we could do that would still preserve people's right to hunt, people's right to collect guns, people's that care about guns for sport and guns for protection. But at some point, when you see these innocent kids praying in a church.
Well, ain't that a bitch? YouTube just fucking made it so I couldn't monetize my stream unless I changed it to. I had to take the shooting part out of the title. Yeah, guys, you know what? These AI models are really doing a bang up job.
They get gunned down.
I'm obviously in a bad mood over this. Like, this one really put me in a bad spot. But this is ridiculous. I've been trying to say this, like, how I have to use the term grape. Do you understand that has done nothing but just make it to where you have to, like, infantilize something that is a very serious topic just because you guys are too fucking lazy to sick your AI and maybe differentiate it between contexts. That's right. You guys don't want to have anybody working for you.
By a madman.
Holy crap.
You have to step back and think, what can we do better? What can we do better with
I'm listing it right here because it does start with social media.
Background checks or with assault weapons, which may not have played into this situation, but every
How many victims? I know it was over 12.
Situation is different.
2 of them died.
Different. And there are a number of things we can do that would not hurt law-abiding gun owners, of which
Shooter fired through church windows at children, apparently blocked 2 doors and with boards to prevent escape.
There are so many in my state and in our country. And so it does get you to that. But right now, in our...
I swear to God, if this turns into, okay, so we need guns in schools, security guards, police, like, and if this turns into another, like, a way to, again, use, like, militarized force and just constant, like, again, safety. I can't help but just repeat this phrase about, with Benjamin Franklin talking about safety and security, and then
state, we're just mourning
not deserving any of it.
Families, we're mourning for
or liberty.
Those
God,
kids
here I might get
that
the
were
actual
in there
quote.
that may have survived but will never be the same.
And
we are supporting our law enforcement and our hospitals. And there's right now some doctors and nurses that are sitting in an operating room with a little kid trying to save them from a shot in the stomach or a shot in the neck. And that's what we think of viscerally now. But to just let it go there and say thoughts and prayers is no longer enough.
Those who would give up essential liberty to protect a little, to purchase a temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety.
Senator, I mean, you just alluded to this, and this is what the mayor was getting at. How many times have we seen this cycle, this horrible...
You know how Republicans read that?
Cycle of the trauma, the tragedy. I mean, you mentioned that the whole nation. I had to send a note to my brother to say, my niece and nephew, who are 9 and 10, don't watch the show today because I don't want them to be traumatized. Yeah. They'll hear about it. And parents are dealing with this all across the country. And of course, the most important, the parents that we're thinking of the most are those who have either lost those 2 children or those who have their children in the operating room right now. But when is enough going to be enough?
Exactly. You know, I I remember the stories when I was in Nashville after that school shooting, and I was in a bookstore, Ann Patchett's bookstore, and this was a week later, and one of the moms was in there. She couldn't sleep. She was looking for a book. Of course, her child had survived, but she told the story to us of the kids in a line and how literally her child was in the line and saw her best friend shot, and she's just trying to hold on. She's trying to find a book. She's trying to figure out what can she read to her to make this better. And there's one thing we can do to make this better and stop the angry rhetoric, start working on solutions that we know have worked in other countries or could work here. And it's not just one size fits all, but we've got to be willing to do it. And especially some of my colleagues who've been afraid to do it. We did do one bipartisan bill for community violence, and including with Chris Murphy and Senator Cornyn and a number of other people. It included my provision on domestic violence, and people that have been convicted shouldn't be able to go out and get guns. We've done these things, but there's much bigger things we could do when it comes to background checks and assault weapons and having more national standards.
What are you talking about? Just yesterday, you had talking heads before this happened talking about how Chicago has the strictest gun laws, and that's why we have gun violence. Stop.
Place. And
you need to get better at combating that narrative. I'm telling you right now, until you can start fighting against those arguments, I don't know. Like, you guys, you're just as bad as the thoughts and prayers groups where you guys constantly just say like this, well, we need bipartisanship. We need this because this is all I'm hearing is I don't want to be blamed for this.
Being stricter about getting these guns out there. And if a bunch of kids praying in a church and shot down through the windows of that church and locked into that by a madman isn't enough to make people move, I just don't know what is anymore.
Senator, thank you so much for joining us on this.
I do find it interesting that they went from basically hate crimes don't exist to hate crimes exist, but only when it's done against Christians or Catholics. Yep.
On this horrific, tragic day in this moment for your state once again.
Mm-hmm. Do we have an update? You know what? Screw it. Let's go with Kyle.
All right, welcome to the show, y'all. We got way too much going on today. Things going to change.
It's about 2
Families
minutes.
that are going to have to go through the worst pain anybody's ever known now, because I'm sure that a lot of these kids are not going to survive. And in the coming days, we'll get the information about, who carried it out, what kind of weapon they used, what their mental health history was, what their politics are, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing's for sure, man, and this is probably the most depressing part of all of it, I don't think anything's going to change.
Nope.
I don't think anything's going to change.
Well, he got his hair bleached again.
I think that once we had Sandy Hook, and then functionally nothing happened as a result of that, I think the writing was on the wall. Basically, the United States threw our hands up and said, it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Like,
and to be fair, that's not what the population.
I really am just lamenting the fact that this is where it's 2025. This is where we're at. And I don't know. Like, Biden didn't do shit.
Population says.
The Democrats ain't doing shit.
The actual people, the actual voters, the actual constituents say in overwhelming numbers, do something. 90% want a universal background check, for example. A majority want to ban.
I'm reading on ABC News that the shooter was trans. MAGA is going to run with this. This is not good. I fucking told you.
High capacity.
They're going to say trans leftist, boom. And again, Alex Jones is going to just conveniently not bring this one up.
Magazines.
Again, it's insane when they do the thing and then he's just like, no, there's no way. There's
1,000 different kinds of gun regulations and restrictions that the public supports, and they support in colossal numbers. But it's the politicians that block it. And to be clear, it's really the Republicans, because they're swimming in NRA money, and the Democrats, unfortunately, haven't been able to get anything serious through. Now, under Biden, there was some sort of gun reform that got through, but really, if we're being honest, it was very mild. Now, you could argue it had to be mild in order for them to get it through, whatever, but that just goes to show
Yeah, because we kids gloves with everything except apparently keeping kids safe.
We don't
from, pedos or fucking people that want to end their lives.
solve problems anymore.
Getting a little tired of this, man.
We don't solve problems anymore. And it's not like,
No.
The right makes this bullshit argument like, well, more guns equals more peace, so regulating the guns is not the answer. But we know that's factually wrong. You can look around the world and see, hey, which countries have, the lowest amount of gun violence? And you find out very quickly, Australia is one of them. And would you look at that? They have some of the strictest gun laws. And Japan is another one. And they have, I think, the strictest gun laws. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that fewer guns means more peace. But in this country, we don't even do like the simple, straightforward, basic, moderate reforms.
Nope.
We don't even have
No, but this is where this might come off as a little spicy, guys, but if they're going to now, again, go after the weapons when they're federalizing police and sending them into our neighborhoods and they're arresting people that they just disagree with, hey, I'm thinking that that's maybe not the fucking time to give up your right to bear arms. That seems a little, I gotta say.
national
How did I get to this fucking point?
red flag law.
What the hell, guys? This happened in real time. With seriously, if ABC is actually reporting that this is a trans shooter, I don't, seriously, at what point do I just not go, guys, it's actually fucking happening?
Law, for example, said if a kid
The deep state is taking your guns away. They're taking your freedoms.
is caught on social media saying, I'm now going to shoot up the school, it becomes legal for the cops to go and take their guns that day. We don't even have that. Never mind universal background checks. Never mind a ban on high-capacity magazines. I think we should have a licensing system, like how you need, you need to pass a test and get a license in order to drive a vehicle, because the idea is a vehicle is like a weapon. Yeah, but then you could just go get an actual weapon and not have to go through as strict a process. And I think we should have something like that for guns, because, I mean, we are one of the countries in.
If we're so good, listen. This is where I'm not going to claim to have the solution here, because the genie's out of the bottle, but this brainstorming never does shit.
The world.
Why is it always us doing it too? Never the people in power.
That has,
I don't know, man.
Sky high rates of.
I'm gonna move on from the story here in a little bit, and we're gonna go to something else, because I did realize how fuck this really is.
Anxiety and depression and mental illness and a crisis of purpose. And
I've been this close to breaking down on stream, and dude, I handled my mom's death on stream. This is fucked.
And unfortunately, we're dealing a lot with massive economic problems, and 60% of the country is living paycheck to paycheck. And having that,
nothing will change, because why would it? As long as money flows to those on top, nothing will change. People voted for a PDF. Why would people care if kids die? Exactly.
That mixed with, we have over 300 million guns.
But why aren't we more effective at messaging that to these assholes?
I don't know, man. That seems like
these guys are all they do is go online and say, well, you support taking away our guns or blah, blah, blah. And then again, just the Groypers going after the Vanguard, like you were just saying.
Bad mix. That seems like a bad mix,
know,
but
man.
Look, I hope I'm wrong, but my guess is, what are you going to get? You're going to get the Republicans come out and do their, thoughts and prayers.
Well,
thoughts and prayers. Sure. We're going to do a lot of thoughts, and we're going to do a lot of prayers.
Well, the Democrats do that too.
For these kids. But actually, substantively address it? Nah, we're not going to do that. So this is where we are. This is the country we are now, bro. And it just goes to show you, and it's not just this issue, but this is just a great example of the fact that we don't solve problems anymore.
Nope.
If we see a problem, half the political spectrum goes into denial mode, right? That's what they do. Think about climate change. When it comes to climate change, the scientists their hair's on fire, and they're going, if we don't do something about this, we're cooked. Human civilization is cooked. And you have, the right just goes, disagree. Maybe.
Yeah, that's honestly, that's what it has turned into. I think that's why I'm kind of realistically, guys, I'm trying to be as honest as possible. This broke my fucking brain.
Climate change is.
The responses broke my brain. This is it. It's almost I can't process that this is real, and that this is how the response was. And like Uvalde did nothing. Like, and this is what, the first week of school?
It's a good thing. Maybe it's not happening, but if it is happening, it could be a good thing. Well, what am I supposed to do with that?
And then on top of it, to hear like this could possibly be exactly what I was claiming it was, like, holy shit.
What am I
like? I'm not gonna say it is a false flag, but if it turns out that this person was trans and that they went after a Catholic school, I'm going to definitely have some suspicions.
supposed to do with an anti-reality doomsday cult?
The FBI is already saying that they're investigating this as a terrorist attack.
That is
as a domestic terrorist attack, which, again, how come they didn't do that before? How come Adam Lanza was never investigated as a domestic terrorist? How come the guy that shot Trump wasn't classified as a domestic terrorist?
Right. And so here we go. Another colossal school shooting with super...
I love how the conspiracy crowd, honestly, they can glaze over all that shit to get to the end game of like they were so focused on the deep state that they put it into office, and then on top of it they just will ignore everything that, like, all the evidence that comes out and just go no, because it's not implicating the people that they thought it would. That's realistically how we got here. And then they're like, well, protect the children. It's like, we would like to take these gun, or like we would like to put some, stipulations on, gun ownership, some background checks, maybe a 7-day waiting period. Y'all don't take my freedom.
High number of casualties. Lord only knows the ages of these kids, but as
8 and 10,
this information comes out, it's going to get ugly and uglier and uglier and uglier. And just remember, there are answers, there are solutions, and none of them will be done.
Yep.
Not a single one.
Here. I don't need to just hear reaffirmation of everything that we're already, what I'm pretty much saying. I mean, I thought that it was actually going to have a little bit more information on this. Give me 1 second. Jesus, how is this not? Wow, cool. It's like buried all over this, over the place right here. This is nuts.
A pistol, a rifle, a shotgun.
4 hours ago. All right, guys. Sources confirm ID of Anucation church shooter.
A pistol, a rifle, a shotgun. This suspect firing all three of these things, and we've been waiting to find out more information about this.
Oh my God. Oh my God. It's every single one except for the one. Jesus Christ. This is fucked. Oh my God.
Suspect, and we're getting
We know this is a young man in his early 20s. Our investigative team working very hard to figure out more information. We do want to get...
Woo! All right, so now we go to that ABC report. Etch, make sure you take a screenshot of that.
To Eric Rasmussen.
And then we on Pep Talks are going to send that screenshot, and we're going to demand that they answer for it and issue a retraction.
Right now, who has been talking to...
I may have limited media, outreach, but I can at least put a little bit of a pressure campaign where it's like, no, you will issue this retraction for the dangerous misinformation that you are spreading.
Sources working to confirm the identity of the school shooter. Eric?
And we
maybe give your dude a hat in the field. Just a aside.
We are here. You can see the police tape behind me on South 1st Avenue and East 57th Street here in Minneapolis, less than a mile from the scene of this shooting. And this behind me is the last known...
Just stand him under a tree. It's the reflections.
Address of the suspected shooter. And 5 Eyewitness News, from speaking with multiple sources, has identified the suspect today as 23-year-old Robin Westman. And we do have a photo of this person that I want to show you now. Again, we've been working this over the last several hours, as you might imagine, and this came in as a tip. My photojournalist and I came out here, I would say, about 90 minutes ago. ago, still working information on that tip, and found this area already taped off, multiple agents on scene. The BCA is here, other law enforcement is here, and they've been coming and going for about the last 90 minutes. But again, to confirm what 5 Eyewitness News has learned from multiple sources, the suspect here, 23-year-old Robin Westman, this was the last known address. I could tell you when we rolled up here, again, going on 2 hours ago, we saw agents speaking with a slightly older man and a woman. I don't want to start connecting dots that we haven't been able to confirm yet, but talking to neighbors in this area, many of them telling us that it was a family here at this home behind me, and a variety of sort of accounts of interactions with that family. Some saying they were very quiet and kept to themselves. I talked to another neighbor who told me they were very friendly and they interacted with them frequently. But as you can imagine, just a mile from the scene of this shooting, less than a mile, I mean, it's a 3-minute drive, we have had people coming and going on foot in their cars, asking about this scene that has become the source of growing interest for not only neighbors, but law enforcement that has been coming and going throughout the morning. We've seen them go in and out of that door behind me, and you can see they are still here now. I talked to one neighbor who, really unaware of anything that was going on in this area this morning, saying that she came out, looked out her window, and saw agents with, her words, very large guns coming and going this morning, sometime after the shooting near the church and the school. So, of course, we're continuing to gather information out here at the scene, learning all we can about the suspected shooter that, again,
They emphasize the guns. Like, we know agents carry.
We've been able to confirm the name here, Robin.
Because it was a SWAT situation. Okay,
Westman.
hold on. I just
23-year-old. My colleagues on our 5 Investigates team are going through court records and other information. And of course, we're going to continue to keep you updated throughout the day, as this is still a very active scene, again, here on South First Avenue and East 57th Street in Minneapolis. We'll send it back to you for now.
Investigative reporter Eric Rasmussen on the scene here. And Eric, we do want to ask you, we know that the FBI is digging into the suspect's history right now. We know you're working your sources out there. Walk us through a little bit of what's going on with this investigation. We understand they're
show the Twitch channel some love.
certainly going to be checking social media accounts, looking at his school history as they try to figure out more of this. So walk us through more of this investigation.
Sure. You know, Leah, first of all, it should be sad to note that we've had to walk through these kinds of investigations before. I've been doing this a long time all over the country, and sadly I've had to cover a few of these. So what we do know, without speaking to the specifics of this case, is that just as it is an all hands on deck for us here at 5 Eyewitness News, there is just an outpouring of support in the law enforcement community. You're talking the FBI. I know the ATF is going to be looking into ballistics and the types of firearms and ammunition.
Why all of a sudden why? Why not every other fucking shooting? Why not Uvalde? Why? Why are the feds all of a sudden fucking interested?
That were used. And then, as you just described, sort of walking this story backwards. That's the sources we can all see.
Where was
online.
this? Where was this for all the other ones? I have to be that guy, man.
This today, in this world, everything is documented. It's going through records, familial connections. Were there breadcrumbs along the way that sort of informed how we got to this terrible point today? I've been in touch with...
Why do they always do this thing where they, like, is this a human thing or is this just media fucking, like, literal, like, stupidity? Where they're just like, was there a way that we could have predetermined this? You know, pre-crimed this? Is there a way we could have pre-crimed this?
With one former FBI agent that I hope to follow up with later today to learn a little bit more about exactly.
I swear to God, like these are this like. Instead of taking guns away or actually doing something about this kind of like that would have substance, they're going to do this thing where they're just be like, we're going to use an AI algorithm to show exactly who's a threat and who's not.
Digging into, but it is all the things you'd be thinking of. What was the connection? Why here? Why this school? Why this church? The acquisition of the firearms these days can be
FBI needs something to do that isn't Epstein
traced
related.
back with quite a bit of specificity. And considering the amount of firepower we know and we think was used, there's going to be just a plethora of information that comes out of the
thing is, it's the same people that are talking about gang violence and going to the cities. They're like, yeah, something needs to be done about this gang violence. But they don't talk about motorcycle gangs. They don't talk about white supremacist gangs. Never a word about them. How come motorcycle clubs aren't just, again, they fit every criteria, especially if they, happen to be like one of those types of clubs. Again, not a fucking word about that.
Evidence in this case. And that's all things that they're going to be looking at, not just today, but
the AI would just spit back out Alabama
well into the future.
All right. Thank you. I needed that.
And hey, Eric, they're right at the scene. We see a large area that's corned off with crime scene tape. Is there just one house in this block that they're looking at, or does it go all the way around?
That's a fair question, Paul. What I could tell you that might not be super clear on the screen is there's sort of a perimeter and then there's another perimeter. So I'm standing at the police tape here. This is as far as we can go. This is as far as other neighbors or people coming by to get a look can go. But as we go past me, I'm going to step out of the way here for Lee, our photographer here. You then see additional police tape wrapped around the house in question, the house, the address that led us here when we got a tip, again, going on.
What, you never been through a police perimeter before?
On 2 hours ago. So that is clearly the focus of law enforcement out here. There may be other information that we don't know yet, but we haven't heard anything to suggest that there are, multiple houses or locations or, frankly, even people involved here. Again, I think I said at the top of our live report here today that we saw an older man and woman speaking with law enforcement. I don't want to try to get into their heads about how they looked emotionally, but the man was on the phone, sitting on the curb. So, again, to answer your question directly, the focus of law enforcement out here appears to be this one home that's behind me here on South First Avenue.
So many questions.
Yeah, hey there, Julie. As you were talking about some of those diaries that they were posted online, video of handwritten diaries using Cyrillic or Russian letters to write out English words. We've been working to get some of that translated. We actually have an intern on staff who speaks Russian. This has kind of been slow going, but our team has been able to translate some of Robin's diary entries, and we're not going to go into a lot of what was written because it was so extremely violent. But the first and a few of the last entries in one of the diaries really do give some context to this mass shooting. The picture you're looking at on screen is in that diary, and the words on the top of the screen say, using Russian letters, say "Annunciation from Memory." This is a hand-drawn sketch.
I mean, somebody told him that it was okay that he's okay to go out looking like a troll doll, so I'm not sure.
Of the school, and he writes that, on August 21st of this year that he visited during teachers' training. The teachers were in the basement, and he wrote discussing how they're probably getting active shooter training, and that he writes, I'm sure they won't be expecting an attack in the very first week. Back on May 23rd, Robin wrote an entry describing...
Wait, he posted this? Wait. He posted this or the police posted this?
Just an obsession with...
Because if he posted this, then this is the we want to talk about guns and all this. Social media platform. Hello.
Mass shootings, specifically school shootings. Robin.
Sorry, not a laughing matter, anxious thing. Honestly, that's where like a lot of my stuff comes from. Like I laugh in anxious moments.
And writes about having memories of the obsession dating all the way back to 7th grade. And
I've definitely gone through the gamut here. I've definitely gone through anger, that's for sure.
Discusses talking about mass shootings with friends when Robin was very young, and how it was even reported to adults at the time. Then on August 20th, in one of the last entries, Robin...
All right, so I may have said the things about pre-crime, but this is like one of those situations where it's like, okay, you guys asked, like legit, Dana Bash was just like, I just wonder if there was anything that could have been done. It seems like there could have been. I don't know. What social media platform was he posting this on?
Writes about visiting the church and plans to carry out this act.
Like TikTok
on August 21st, a final entry in one of the diaries discusses practicing at a shooting range leading up to
X.
what was described as...
Who the hell told him that haircut was okay?
The mission.
He looks, this might be like for an 80s reference, but he looks like the guy, oh my God, Max Headroom.
Again, you know, we showed you that one sketch. We are not going to be showing a lot of what was posted online. We really do.
It was posted online. I don't know, guys. I
not want to glorify what happened, but this is some of the context that, you know, we're learning about, you know, whatever motivation there was. We know Robin appeared to have gone to the school for at least a year in junior high, and Robin's mother retired from
you saw this on the
school, it appears, from social media posts in 2021. We've heard from a number of folks who said,
well, great minds and all that.
That, you know, she was a long time
That's a cool dude.
employee there. That is the tie to the church and school. But the real takeaway here is it sounds like Robin...
I'm sorry, all of it should be reported because Trump administration is going to make a ton of shit up. That is a good point. That is a very good point.
Visited the church and school within the last week or so while teachers were there training for the
I can't stop looking at the top of this man's head.
Upcoming school year. And, you know, it appears the suspect planned this event for the first week of school, seeming to think that people wouldn't be prepared.
AJ, it seems too that in those writings, my understanding is that he was really obsessed with school shootings.
Yeah, so everyone knew this kid was off. No one did anything. So yeah, nothing will get done because the answer is always in our face. People know who the bad actors are, but they don't want to act.
For a long time.
Again, because parenting might actually have to happen sometimes in these cases. I don't know. That seems to always be a little bit of a factor.
Yeah, I mean... Robin wrote about this obsession dating back to
this has nothing to do with politics, dumb
childhood, and it was something.
You do know that all of these situations are inherently political because of the fact that, like, they don't do anything, even with bipartisan consensus. So yes, Timmy DeTooth, it is.
Thing that they talked about all the time. And again, you know...
Oh, sorry, are you going based off the title of my show? That's literally it. Like, go through my... I know, this might be a bridge too far for you to actually make that extra click to go to the show, like the actual show page, but you'll see that this is what the show's called.
This one page that we are showing you in the video, I
just realized I'm in no mood today.
The hand keeps bringing this knife down and stabbing the school, or stabbing this drawing of the pews there in the church.
Yeah, but there's totally nothing wrong with this guy.
In the top right corner, that says Annunciation from Memory when spelled out, kind of using this Russian English code that it appears Robin was using to write these diaries.
Well, and AJ, I'm wondering too, there's a video that's going around social media as well of just a cache of weapons that has various things, you know, hateful sayings, some addressing the president, just all kinds of different sayings. Have you been able to verify that video?
Mountain Time.
That video does appear to have come from the same YouTube page that we have been able to confirm law enforcement is looking at and believes to be that belonging to Robin Westman. As you saw, I mean, it's, you know, it's all over social media.
Did it on YouTube?
Made a decision that we're not going.
Yikes. Yet again, YouTube daddy is sitting here like, oh, make sure that you don't say the R word. You have to say grape.
Going to show some of this, but there are, clips for weapons written out, as, for the children. Just truly horrible things. As you mentioned, there does appear to be some political references to the president, and just an obsession with violence.
AJ, you mentioned his obsession with former or past school shootings. Do we know if law enforcement ever got involved back then when he was a child, or when he was talking to other friends about it? Because you mentioned that other friends even brought it up to adults, perhaps. Do we know if this was ever vetted back then?
We don't know that. The police chief earlier today said this individual did not have much of a criminal record. Now, you would be going back a number of years, it sounds like, when this may have been raised to adults. And again, we're getting that information out of this translation of Russian to English coming directly from the suspected shooter. Some of the things that are posted in there are just so obviously false. It's hard to know exactly what's real.
I just want to know where Timmy the Tooth is coming from.
And what's not. We can tell you what's written, but we do not know if this...
Man, I haven't heard that name. Timmy the Tooth. You guys remember? That was a show where it was like a weird puppet show. Like, trust me, it's like a fever dream.
Was escalated to law enforcement at the time.
Anything that you've been able to learn, we know that the mother worked at Annunciation for decades. Anything you've learned about the rest of the family?
No, we haven't really dug quite that far. We've really been, focusing on trying to understand some of...
There it is. There it is. It's not political. Makes it political. Because he knows that the optics look bad for whatever his politics are. Fuck you, Timmy.
What is, you could...
Coming in here acting like you're somehow better than it, and then proving our point. Come on, man, do better.
Manifesto. It's almost like a diary, and you can see video of it, flipping pages, and it's kind of slow.
Real winter's coming out today.
To really get a grasp on this. We do know that the suspect here writes, that within the last week to 2 weeks.
Are you 12? Like, seriously,
they were going to a shooting range and practicing.
Maybe if you didn't type that last bit there, I'd still take you seriously, but
they wanted to, make sure
coming in here with your Krusty the Clown ass.
Their red dot scope was working properly. They were writing about trying to, find a proper scope to be able to see. And again, as we told you, it appears that a visit was made to the school.
And you must be one of the MAGA guys protecting a pedophile.
In the church very recently.
Have fun with that, buddy.
Within the last week or two.
And my understanding was part of...
Have fun with all the mental gymnastics that you constantly have to do to make, again, I thought you guys were so worried about the crime. I thought you wanted to do something about crime because all the bad criminals.
Practicing at the range was to make...
Timu Shaggy. Oh.
Make sure that...
All right.
That he could ultimately
kind of like that one.
Himself at the end.
Not everybody comes in with a zinger. I'll at least give you that one.
This.
Well, I can't speak to that, Julie.
AJ, you were talking about this manifesto.
Actually, the proof is on their side. You see how that works? Donald Trump has to prove that he's not on the Epstein list. But you guys are very eager to just pretend that he's not. Yeah, it totally makes sense. It totally makes sense to watch him do a cover-up in real time, and then you're here going like, prove it, Lefty.
Or more like a diary, if you will. Is that what is written in those Russian decoder letters, or is it?
I'll get on that. I'll call Pam Bondi. I got her here. Hold on. Let me get Pam on the line.
Something different.
No, what I've been describing to you is what is written in this series of diaries.
I need you to get me something over here.
We see video of
the Epstein files. Yeah, no, I know. I'm just talking to you like a MAGA chud. Yeah.
And it appears it's in this almost like code of Russian to English. As I explained earlier, it's not Russian words. It's Russian or Cyrillic letters that spell out
the people. Wait, so it's the people versus Donald Trump? Like, that's the thing? So you're saying like, wow, dude. Have fun with your red armbands there, my brother. Well, not my brother.
English word. So here's an example I can give you. The word gun.
Jesus Christ.
Would not be the Russian word for gun. It would be the Cyrillic or Russian letters that spell out G-U-N. And that's what we're seeing. Why, we don't know. It's not clear if this individual was a Russian speaker. The folks that we've had looking at it seem to think that he may not, or she may not have been a fluent in Russian, but it seems to have been used almost as a code of sorts.
And any criminal background, any other run-ins with the law that we've been able to find?
We haven't seen anything of substance that would be a run-in with the law. But again, these videos, these diaries, they just have an obsession with suicide, with the end of this person's life.
There it is. There it is.
Bro, there's a lot of whispering in
who called groypers?
The video, and
who had groypers?
Towards the end.
Hey, who had groypers? You had all right. We got a bingo.
I'm saying I love my family and I'm sorry.
Oh wow.
AJ, a lot of people obviously want to know.
By the way, the Orioles suck and always have.
How people obtain their guns. Do we know anything do we know if these guns were obtained legally or not?
We don't know that at this point. We do know this individual, the suspect, Robin Westman, was 23 years old, so would have been legal to, would have been of age to legally purchase, any weapon. And it sounds like, there was a handgun, a rifle, and a shotgun. So unless that rifle was fully automatic, which we haven't gotten an indication of.
Hermit, you got it? All right, cool. You can go to the back table to claim your prize.
These weapons would have been legal to purchase over the counter.
And did they have a job, do we know? 23 years old, either someone would be in school or in the workforce at this point?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that yet.
All right, well, we appreciate all the work you're doing. We'll let you go so you can continue digging and getting more information from us. Thank you so much, AJ.
Yep. Fact check, the shooter was actually a far right-wing nut job. I mean, we were kind of just watching a little bit there where it's like, it definitely seems like he was a wee bit to the other side, but... You'd think that Fox News would be reporting on this a lot more if it was a left-winger, by the way. Seem to be going with the facts.
Let's listen to the governor.
Certainly a day and a news conference that no one wants to be at. A community behind us, Annunciation Church and School, committed to academics, service, and Catholic values, filled with the first days of school, of beautiful children going to learn those values, share with their teachers and their classmates. And instead of that joy and that curiosity and that learning, they were met with evil and horror and death. And we often come to these and say, these unspeakable tragedies, or there's no words for this. There shouldn't be words for these types of incidents because they should not happen. And there's no words that are going to ease the pain of the families today. On behalf of all the people of Minnesota, our deepest sympathies. A wish that any of these words would make what you're feeling now better, but it won't. A place that's founded on community, founded on service, founded on family. I'd like to give special thank you to the mayor and the team in Minneapolis, Minneapolis Police Department, Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, Minnesota State Patrol, the BCA, so many agencies, our federal partners in the FBI, the first responders, and the heroic work that's happening now as we speak at multiple medical locations, including Hennepin County Medical Center, where most of our children were transported to receive the life-saving care. the thoughts and prayers and the hopes and the support that we need to give them in this moment, too, is critical. Speaking with all the people here and grateful to our federal partners, Senator Klobuchar speaking early this morning and receiving a call from President Trump, who was with his leadership team of the Attorney General and the Vice President, expressing their deep condolences amongst the horror that happened and an offer to provide the support to the folks here in Minnesota of what's needed.
Once he did
so
the right
a lot
thing.
of cameras
Look at
here, and unfortunately, we have been through these types of things. They will be gone at some point. All of you, you have to do your jobs. But what happened here today will not be gone. Minnesotans will not step away. We'll stand with this community. We'll redouble ourselves to do the best we can to understand what we can do to prevent any parent from having to receive the calls they received today, from any school dedicated to children having to respond to a situation that, as we said, is unthinkable, but that's all too common, not just in Minnesota, but across this country. It's Minnesota's day today, and it's my strongest desire that no state, no community, no school ever experiences a day like this. So I ask the rest of the folks around the country who are watching, keep us in your thoughts and prayers, but also
I'm not sure if you guys already saw over on Twitch here. We got one person, don't get involved, already saying that, you know, Tim here was friends with the shooter. So, yeah.
Also keep us in the thoughts.
Just remember that whenever anybody's just like...
for action. Keep us in the ideas that we can work together. And it's on these days like this,
What happened? Someone went into a church and shot up the church. And an 8 and a 10-year-old died, and a bunch more people got injured.
I hope we can hold on to it.
Latest update, though, is that everybody that did get injured is expected to make a full recovery.
We are unified as a community. Everybody across the country today is part of the Annunciation Parish, and they're with those families. With that, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
Yeah, went to Fox News for this one, guys, because I wanted to see what they were reporting. Look at that. They actually did something okay. Jesus Christ. Sorry, that should be fair. No, that was, at least they covered that. But, let's see. Seems like they're not really reporting much.
This was their first day of all school mass, so they have mass once a week on Wednesdays, and basically the way that it's set.
The United States flag outside the White House has been lowered to half staff as the nation mourns 2 children, ages 8 and 10, who were killed in a shooting at the Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis earlier today. The children were sitting with classmates in church pews during a mass. At least 17 others are wounded, 14 of them children as young as 6 years old. We just learned the 3 adult victims are parishioners.
I like how you're just like, yeah, go watch the one that's definitely not propaganda.
In their 80s.
Fuck you.
The Minneapolis police chief just moments ago said all of the injured victims are expected to survive. The school includes students pre-K through 8th grade.
I'm in a band-happy mood today.
This was the first week of school. The mayor of Minneapolis today expressing profound grief and frankly also some anger at the failure of our leaders to take sufficient, meaningful action to prevent the continuation of massacres like these in the United States.
And don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church.
Moments ago, the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, said these kids went to school to find learning and curiosity, and they were met with something very different.
They were met with evil and horror and death. And we often come to these and say, these unspeakable tragedies, or there's no...
Funniest thing is, that guy over there, he's been part of, like, my streams for a long time. For him to just say, you should watch Fox News more, and that's what... I was just like, you know what, fuck this.
Words for this. There shouldn't be words for these types of incidents, because they should not happen.
Fun time.
Police say the shooter died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound after using 3 different weapons to shoot dozens of rounds into the church windows from outside the building. Police are still working to determine a motive based on the ample evidence the shooter left behind. They did say the shooter did not have an extensive known criminal history.
We're also aware of a manifesto that the shooter had timed to be released on YouTube. This manifesto appeared to show him at the scene and included some disturbing writings.
I was wondering about that. I was like, how in the hell was this on YouTube?
Sources say authorities are evaluating, in addition to the manifesto, a series of videos posted to YouTube by a user identified as Robin W. They are trying to authenticate them and potentially learn more about the motivations in this horrific attack. The videos, which have been taken down, were first uploaded earlier today before the shooting. We have a lot more, and there's a lot of breaking news about this horrific incident. CNN law enforcement correspondent Whitley Wild is on the scene in Minneapolis with the latest on what we know about how this shooting unfolded.
There are no words that can capture the horror and the evil of this unspeakable act. Children are dead.
Hey, start, man.
A peaceful start to the day ends in tragedy after a gunman opens fire during Mass at a Catholic church and school in Minneapolis, killing 2 children.
A possible active shooter.
Any troopers responding, you received a lot more medical.
It happened just before 8:30 this morning, local time. Police say dozens of children were inside the Mass.
It was like shots fired, and then we kind of like got under the pews. It kind of, they shot through the stained glass windows, I think, and it was really scary. And I just ran under the pew, and then I covered my head. My friend like saved me though, because he laid on top of me, but he got hit. He went to the hospital. I was like 2 seats away from the stained glass windows, so they were like, the shots were like right next to me.
Monday marked their first day back at the preschool through 8th grade school.
During the Mass, a gunman approached on the outside, on the side of the building, and began firing a rifle through the church windows towards the children sitting in the pews at the Mass.
I swear to God, we're in a country where they're ban mass gatherings before they ban any fucking weapon.
2 young children, ages 8 and 10, were killed where they sat in the pews.
Minneapolis police rushed to the scene and entered the church to try and provide first aid to victims and also rescue some of the children who were hiding in the building.
You cannot put into words the gravity, the tragedy, or the absolute pain of this situation.
This man lives near the church and heard the gunfire.
I said there's no way that could be gunfire. There was so much of it. So it was sporadic.
He rushed to the scene and spoke to a survivor as he came out of the church.
He said it looked like just a normal Sunday Mass. So it was full, of people and children. He just ran, when the fire, he said it seemed like it went on for eternity, but when it stopped, he ran out of the building.
Victims are now being treated at local hospitals, including Hennepin Healthcare, which says many of its victims are young. The chair of emergency medicine at the hospital says 4 of the patients required surgery.
9 of the 11 patients were pediatric ages. I can't remember the exact ages. I believe it's 6 all the way up to 14. That's the range.
Police say the investigation is just beginning and that the gunman was in his early 20s and armed with a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol.
This was a deliberate act of violence against innocent children and other people worshiping. The coward who fired these shots ultimately took his own life in the rear of the church.
This kind of act of evil should never happen, and it happens far too often.
Jake, anyone with children at a Catholic school, at a religious school, knows how important that first day is, that moment when everyone goes to Mass. And quite often that special experience to kick off the school year is shared with family members. What is abundantly clear here after hearing from the principal and the mayor is that what was supposed to be a very special day has been completely destroyed, lives upended. This has reached the Pope. The Vatican sent his deepest sorrows to the Archdiocese here, who read a statement from Pope Leo earlier today. We'll have much more on that later in the show, Jake. But back to the investigation. What we know now is that police are looking into a series of quite bizarre videos. Some of them are rambling. Some of the information indicates that he had this real obsession with shooters and shows rambling written statements. Jake, finally, what we know is that the firearms were purchased legally and recently. Jake?
Whitney Wild in Minneapolis, thanks so much. And we are learning a lot of new information about the shooter. We are trying to verify it and make sure it's accurate before we bring any information to you. A video posted on YouTube does appear to show the shooter rambling, saying things such as, "I don't remember how far I went, and there's bugs in my skin, and I can't deal with this anymore." We saw a person flipping through.
Sounds like he had like severe mental issues.
Notebook pages with indiscernible writing. Some pages showed dates, including today's date, August 27th. In a different video, you hear the shooter referencing a message left to the family.
Here's my note to my family.
Let's bring in CNN's Brian Todd, who is tracking part of this part of the story. Brian, what else are we learning about the shooter?
Jake, we've obtained significant new information on the shooter. Here's what we can tell you right now. The FBI has identified the shooter as Robin Westman, 23 years old. The agency is calling this, quote, an act of domestic terrorism, but the police say they do not have a motive yet to establish it as a hate crime. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara says Westman has no prior criminal history. The shooter was armed with a rifle, shotgun, and a pistol, which the police chief said all were obtained recently and legally. They were purchased by the shooter. According to a yearbook obtained by CNN, Westman graduated from, from Annunciation Catholic's grade school in 2017. According to a social media post, Westman's mother previously worked at Annunciation from 2016 through 2021. Police are
Gee, it sounds like every other story that we've heard about these shootings.
Investigating, as Whitney pointed out.
Again, why the federal attention all of a sudden?
A moment ago, online videos apparently posted by the shooter, which describe an obsession with school shootings. The videos show a rambling written statement with guns.
It definitely sounds like this. There was something to kind of point that this could have happened. I mean, again, big question. Where were the fucking parents?
Painted with slurs, with the names of mass killers, including the shooter at Sandy Hook Elementary School.
Dude, seriously, like,
in 2000.
But then there are people, oh, he's 23 years old. He lived at home.
12, and also some political messages in that rambling written statement. In the videos, which are titled with Westman's full name, the person recording them pages through this handwritten notebook. The notebook describes feelings of self-hatred and wishes to die. And the words, "I'm so sorry," are written in large letters on one page. The notebook also includes a diagram of the inside of a church, which appears to match the layout of Annunciation Catholic Church. The person recording shows themselves stabbing a knife into that drawing of the layout of that church while saying the words, quote, "ha, nice." Jake, again, piecing together this information, all of it incredibly disturbing. And again, as I think people have been pointing out since this happened, you see obviously some real clues here as to what a motive could be, but they're not saying formally what it is yet.
Let's see. Let's get some updates. Let me get this. All right. Gonna find an update. Alrighty, so got an update from the AP. Here we go. That's what I was looking for. Oh, really? That is not... Cardi B testifies in civil trial over assault allegations. What? Never mind. Sorry. I saw that AP was live. I was like, oh, well, get some more information on that. No. Okay, so the only one that I got here is one I'll have to read. Minneapolis shooter Robin Westman is being reported as trans, and that detail is already being highlighted in coverage in ways that distracts from the bigger picture. The truth is that the identity here does not explain the violence. Less than 0.1% of mass shootings involve trans person, which makes it statistically insignificant. You're ignoring the bigger picture here, that this is definitely like, this is why I was asking, why are the feds involved? Why are the feds involved? Why are the feds involved? Why are they now investigating this as a hate crime all of a sudden? We are seeing is the right wing predictably jumping to these reports to stir up their base rather than dealing with what really drives them. But I'm not seeing anything else as far as like reports on this that confirm any of that outside of just a bunch of fucking social media fucking posts. So let's go. We're chatters. I mean, let's be real here, guys. It's been a heavy show. Like, usually the show's not like this, where this is a really heavy subject. I'm here, just don't have a lot of words about this. It's all so sad. That's why I was that's where I was going with it. You know what? We will take a little break. I'll have updates here in a little bit, but yeah, you know what? Let's shift gears. I also have to pee. So I'm gonna put one quick video up here. But also, thanks guys. I appreciate you like hanging in here for the coverage, because this is heavy shit. And I know, like, my commentary isn't exactly the most hopeful here. I'm sorry here, but fixing a watch. I always appreciate like when people chime in to let me know what they're doing on the side there. The video of the kid talking about his friend laying on top of him really got to me. The guy who did this is the reason I stopped voting Democrat years ago. They're all nuts. Ah. That's okay. Yes. There's no Republican lunatics that have shot up schools full of kids. Yeah. I can't believe you actually, like, said that. It's like, wow. Say it with your chest. Here we go. Perfect. Never mind. That is not what I was looking for. We are looking for 22 minutes ago. There
We
we go.
do have breaking news. 2 children are dead. More than a dozen others, students and staff, are injured after a shooting at a Catholic school in Minneapolis. The shooter has been identified as Robin Westman.
Yeah, this is the first photo we were getting
I'll
of
be
the
right back.
23-year-old.
Yeah,
Investigators say that the children were sitting at the pews during this morning's mass when a Westman shot through the church's windows. Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes joining us in studio with the very latest. Rob.
Yeah, the FBI treating this case as an act of domestic terrorism and a hate crime against Catholics. But Minneapolis police say they are still working on a motive as more information about the shooter, who had no prior criminal history, comes to light. Morning mass turned into a massacre. Parents sprinting to the scene. The Annunciation Catholic Church, where a gunman barricaded the doors from the outside with pieces of lumber and opened fire through the windows.
The shooter was armed with a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol. The sheer cruelty and cowardice of firing into a church full of children is absolutely incomprehensible.
2 students, an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, were killed. 17 others were injured, 14 of whom were children between the ages of 6 and 15.
My friend Victor saved me though, because he laid on top of me, but he got hit. He's really brave, and I hope he's good in the hospital.
Police say this is the shooter, 23-year-old Robin Westman, who committed suicide at the scene. Investigators still trying to determine the motive for the attack and are looking at a manifesto Westman scheduled to be posted on YouTube.
This manifesto appeared to show him at the scene and included some disturbing writings. That content has since been taken down with the assistance of the FBI.
At the White House today, the flag lowered to half-staff. President Trump signing a proclamation honoring the shooting victims. But back in Minneapolis, the city's mayor passionately condemning the shooting and sharing his frustration with the amount of gun violence this country sees.
This kind of act of evil should never happen, and it happens far too often. And don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church.
Now, investigators are also searching 3 homes associated with the shooter and have already found more firearms at those locations. Here in Southern California, LAPD is conducting extra patrols at all Catholic schools. And
why am I getting the feeling like this was a big-ass family, too? Like, what are we not hearing about this fucking family, guys? That's really kind of sus. Usually they talk about that, too.
Another deadly day.
One of those days where there's no words, but that mayor speaking to the frustration and the heartbreak by probably the entire community at this point.
In the country.
Yeah.
It was just heartbreaking to hear when this
Sad
happening
to
this
see.
morning. Okay, Rob, thank you so much. In Los Angeles, Archbishop Jose Gomez also reacting to the shooting on social media, saying, "We're praying for our brothers and sisters in Minneapolis. We pray for those who died and those who were injured in this morning's shooting at Annunciation Catholic School." ABC News will have live coverage from Minneapolis on the school shooting. That is coming up.
Feel like Trump has used this to send in the National Guard?
In a live edition.
For what, though? The thing is, the guy took himself out. So what? For what? For what?
Of World News Tonight with David Muir at 3:30, right after Eyewitness News. We do have.
I'm glad that you got that little plug for David. Alrighty. I'm sweating. I'm actually sweating down here, guys. Like, holy crap. I think this is a first. I'm also, like, kind of amped up about this. Like, this is a lot. It's weird, because I'm looking for other outlets covering the shooter being trans, including Fox. It's only like these really far-right publications right now that are saying that. Which, again, that right there, I'm gonna be as fair as possible. Even if they are correct, the fact that they are reporting on this, like, to be the first without going through the journalistic, checks and just to make sure that their information is correct, and just to use it for their political, to expedite the fucking, what you guys all want. Like, let's be honest. Anybody on the right
wants to see leftists locked up. They think that, again, like this jackass in chat was just like, oh, the leftists, Democrats, they're nuts. Like, dude, these people don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck, like, honestly. Like, if they have the balls to say that shit, then they should have the balls to fucking face, like, honestly. You should be the ones. Like, why are you relying on the military? Why aren't you actually, like, doing it yourself? Oh, why don't you go join ICE? Get your $50,000 fucking signing bonus. Bye. Fuck yourself. All right, guys. I'm going to reset. I got about another hour in me before I got to go tonight. It's going to be a shorter show. So, also, the AG, Wednesdays, he likes to go live around 7 o'clock. So, I like to kind of be able to watch. You know what? I like the show. So, I got a buddy that comes over, and I tune into the AG. We talk some politics, give him some support in the background. Occasionally, we'll be able to chime in. Yeah, that's what I thought. F off. Yeah, honestly. Same as Johnny Walker. Like, hand over the baton. Yeah, exactly. You know what? I just kind of realized that I am kind of a lead-in for AG. I should probably play into that a little bit more. I just realized that, you know what? With all the stuff I'm going through with my dog, I've definitely been a little bit more emotional as far as, like, just getting, like, 0 to 60. I don't know. You guys think I'm 0 to 60 or, like, 0 to 100 lately? Because you guys, watch a good amount of my content, so I do feel like I can ask you. Yeah, it seems like I'm kind of losing my patience a little bit. But not necessarily I mean, dude, I finally banned Don't Get Involved. It kind of felt good. I'm ban happy today since it's a heavy story. No, I appreciate it. Also, LT, this is why I appreciate you as a mod, because I've had problems where, like, I value engagement on my channel here. I really do. Like, and I think that I've explained this to you, and if I haven't, I really should. Yeah, I try to have more open discussions here, and I don't want to be the leftist channel that bans everybody just because they come in here with their Trump shit. MR, like Majority Report, has to do that because, it's 5K people watching per stream, and, like, they can't just deal with that nonsense. But I've also had it where just having that openness has turned people away from, like, being either hardcore MAGA or even just, like, being hardcore conservative, or just being more open to leftist policies and just in general leftists. So that's the value I get from that. So if you ever wonder why I allow some of the shenanigans in chat, that's why. But not today. No shenanigans today. Yeah, if they're coming in hot today, F them. Yeah, it's kind of where I'm at. All right, so I got a update on the Raja Jackson thing, but before we do that, I have this clip from Breaking Points that is interesting, because Taylor Lorenz apparently, like, had it out with Ryan and Emily about banning phones in schools, which I don't know, man. That maybe today's not the day. I was gonna say, no, thank you, LT. I really appreciate what you're doing. And also just, valued member of the community here. Oh yeah, I saw this on the servers. Oh, is it bad? Man, again, great minds and all. Here, let's see. Because I at least... Oh, no, they took it away. What? Oh, no, what did I reset? Shit. Oh, I had the... Damn it, I had the clip ready to go, too. It reset my video. Damn it.
because I don't want to watch the whole thing. Oh, man. All right, I'll play the intro and then might skip around because damn it, that sucks. Not going to spoil it, but she has some bad takes. Taylor, really? Okay, here. Let's see. Taylor's interesting because I gotta say, I don't what she had to say about the Little Tay situation, and she had somebody on talking about how it was a broader conversation about policing sexuality, like specifically, you know, women's sexuality and like as they come of age. It's like, but there's also that whole part where it's like, no, she made millions of dollars off of a bunch of perverts that were counting down the minutes before she fucking did that. That needs to be addressed. Just a total aside on a different subject.
Joining us now is Taylor Lorenz, who as often is at the center of some internet discourse, this time around the moves by schools that are opening up this week and next to ban phones inside their walls. I told my 14-year-old that we were going to be talking about this, and she is utterly shocked and appalled that I think that they should actually have to put their phones away when they go into the school, and that I disagree with you on this. She just...
They should. And honestly, like, there's a situation in my life where one of the kids that... just one of my nieces or nephews, I don't want to put them on blast or anything like that, but they have a special situation where it's a medical situation where they have to have their phone. So,
apoplectic.
I happen to know a little bit about this subject just because of the recent conversation I had.
100% supportive of your position. From talking to other friends of hers, as well as like I was reading the Jackson Reed like student newspaper about it last year when they introduced the ban. I think if you polled the students in high school, it'd be roughly 99%, if not 100%, opposed to these bans. So, like, they have a view on this that I think does need to be considered. It's unusual that kids would be wrong and adults would be right. I think that they are wrong. I think that we're right. But I want to hear out your, the best arguments for my daughter's case, because she frankly wasn't making it. She's like, I want to be able to text my friends in class. I'm like, that's not a good argument.
That's not a good argument.
No, we don't want that. We don't want that.
She's like, only when we have breaks, though.
Well, of course.
Okay.
So here's the thing. First of all, no one wants their kids, or no one wants.
Oh my God, she is the most annoying millennial vocal fry. I just have to call that out because I have a little bit of it. So I call out what I am most insecure about myself.
On their phone during class, distracted. Like no normal person would make that argument.
She agrees with that. Yeah.
That's And there's a big sort of a wide range of options between laws that are often enforced by campus resource officers, police, and we can get into that, versus rules or norms or other ways of sort of like curtailing cell phone behavior use during class. So my opposition is specifically to the laws. If schools, if teachers want to have certain policies, if they want, everyone to put their phone in a basket or these little pocket things that they make now for classrooms, that's totally fine. I think that's great. I would encourage teachers to kind of cultivate their own learning environments. But I think once we get into these blanket laws, there can be a lot of unintended effects. And I think that we are not discussing a lot of those unintended effects. And specifically, I'm concerned with the sort of civil liberties implications with some of the laws.
So yeah, if you could flesh out what some of the civil liberties implications of that might be, I think
Andrew's arch nemesis.
Brian and I are both on the same page. Particularly, Brian has done reporting on this over the years about how some of the unintended consequences of sweeping laws that are they're able to be implemented. They get the political permission structure to be implemented by lawmakers because they're addressing.
I really can't get over how she is kind of like the right wing. Like her and Emma, it looks like they got like. She might, younger sister, not twins, but like definitely like younger sister of Emma Vigeland. Like you could
a serious problem.
After I came to that, I was like, wow, I can't unsee it.
And then the attempt to address a serious problem has unintended consequences because they're able to do the power grab. Everyone was sort of desperate for.
Yeah, why is she?
For some type of solution. So I don't object to the idea that there may be unintended consequences here. Tell us a little bit about what you think they might be, Taylor.
Yeah, so we've had tech bans in the past.
MAGA
And I would say
Emma.
the closest corollary to this is actually the beeper ban. This was a little before my time, but back in the early 90s, there was this really big panic about beepers. Kids had the beepers going off in class, like pagers were a new thing. This was a big distraction at school. And there was a lot of concern about beepers. And, you know, the implication was that people use beepers for like drug use. So there was this moral panic around them. We saw how those laws played out, where basically hundreds of kids ended up having interactions with police. Some kids ended up with criminal records. In one Chicago school, dozens of kids were arrested, and kids were just having these regular interactions with the police. Already, I talked to a parent in LA just last week who was talking about this exact issue, where the teachers, rightfully in certain environments, don't want to enforce these bans, or the administrators. And we have an increasing number of police in school, campus resource officers, which has actually skyrocketed since the days of those beeper bans. And those are often the people that are sort of tasked with enforcing these bans. So it ends up just being this quite discriminatory policy where they just sort of harass kids. They you know, and it leads to more interactions with kids and police. So I'm sort of against that. I also think that we have to look at this law in the context of this broader legislative and political effort that we're seeing right now to restrict kids from access to the internet. And I can get into that more broadly, but I think a lot of people have been sort of talking about things like age verification and these other things. And this law is very much tied, like these laws rather, are very much tied in this broader political effort to sort of censor the internet.
To go out
Before we go into some of that, I wanted to get you to address the related controversy that you're inside now. You've been going back and forth with a couple people on Twitter, including Rachel Cohen Booth, who flagged. Maybe we can put up what do we
decided to say that I was paid by a phone company. I am not paid by a phone company. Never have been paid by a phone company. I don't know what. Like that really bothered me.
But you did put up the tag paid sponsorship.
No, I didn't.
Let's put out.
Hey, is Otis Moto a business?
Her in their case, and then have you respond to it. Their case is that so you did a TikTok for that about Bark, which is you can tell us in a
child
moment.
safety software. Yeah.
In the post, it said #ad.
Oh my God, you're an idiot.
And it had a link that had a long code at the end of it, and you said
tracking code.
Tracking code.
Yeah.
You said you're doing this in partnership with Bark. So people.
Well, the screenshot we had right there did have the tag paid partnership.
So
which
the
I think
reason
you've
I know, guys,
explained-
oh my God,
No,
God,
that's
this is
what we
such
want
a
you to say.
derailing thing. The way that on TikTok, and I understand for people that don't use TikTok, they don't understand this. There's only one way to tag promotional content. So you click promotional content on TikTok, it comes up as paid. And that just means that the brand can put money behind it. It doesn't mean that you got money. I've been extra careful where even things that I'm not paid for, I'll mark it as promotional because I am making something promotional. Like, hey, I really like this product. But me making a free promotion for child safety software that I use, that by the way is unrelated and is actually on the same side as you guys on these bans, is just so absurd and ridiculous. And I think it just shows the attempt that people will go to sort of smear and attempt to discredit anybody that even raises issues with this. I have been reporting on this topic for 8 years. Like I've been writing about all.
Hey, LT, just real quick, before you ban them, you say that and then do it.
These laws,
unless that's how it happened, because I was just like, I saw him go and then you say
broader
it.
political effort.
At least on my
I've been
end.
talking about people like Jonathan Haidt, who are going into these school districts and specifically
because I want them to see it.
Lobbying.
I want them to at least have it's like, oh, the mod told you to F off. Bye.
For these laws, the interest groups around that. This is something that I've covered for a long time. And I'm actually, you know what, who's actually paying me is this program, this Reporters in Residence program that I'm in right now, where I got into the program talking about covering these laws. That's what I am being paid for, is basically this fellowship program. So it's just very silly. But yeah,
I mean, you did post or somebody posted screenshots of the company saying,
yeah, the company has said many times on the record she's not paid.
Could you? Okay, I don't like doing this, but could you, honest to God, imagine going on a date with Emily and just going, having that face sit across the table from you, just.
But it's like, I think people will just jump to anything where they just kind of want to make up a narrative because they want to discredit this issue. And this is very normal in moral panic.
Are we setting a record for right-wing brigaders? I mean, there are a lot
about moral panics. And I'm not saying that necessarily kids being on their phone in class is moral panic, but this issue is very tied to a broader moral panic about cell phones, where people are convinced that they're, making kids sort of mass unalive themselves and things like that, not to use YouTube lingo.
You could see why people thought from the way that it was presented.
Sure, of course. But also of course, I can understand people getting confused. But at that point, you have me responding, and I was at a funeral that day, so I didn't have the chance to respond quite so quickly as people might have liked. And then the company issuing multiple statements saying, this is just not the case. You've misunderstood the situation. But,
Okay, so the question on the moral panic.
Yes.
it does seem to me, well, first of all, just in my own life, I'm not a kid anymore. My brain is better formed than kids that are still developing. But even myself, since smartphones have come around,
I've gotten dumber.
I think I read less. I do more audiobooks.
I'll admit it. I've caught myself, like I pretty much got rid of all social media except for just fucking Facebook. I admitted that one. And then even with that one, I put a whole bunch of like I hit it and I did like a whole, like I have to really, really want to see something on there for me to like finally get to that like final phase and just be like, oh, what am I doing?
I used to be,
which I'm glad that I did that because it works.
Be able to sit down and read.
You know how many times I've like gotten to the second phase and I'm just like, what am I doing? Why do I even care?
10, 20, 30 pages at a stretch and then take a little break or something. Now it's like a page and a half and I find myself like distracted or scrolling. Combine that with the rates of anxiety and depression that we're seeing.
Notice we get these brigaders whenever there's a tragedy. That is true. Wow,
Society,
Sylvie, you're right.
Like, why are we wrong?
Well,
to link these
you could
things?
combine that with
That's
the rate
depressing.
of baggy pants, Ryan, and you would find also a correlation. That doesn't mean
Pants
that
have
those
gotten
things
actually skinnier in that period of time.
skinny pants. So what I would caution people against is making these broad-based sort of conclusions. We actually had quite
but
literally.
I'm not distracted from the book to like look at my baggy pants. Like,
Well,
distracted to look at the phone.
you are making that correlation that just does not exist in research. And we have the top researchers, people like Candace Odgers, who wrote a great piece for The Atlantic on this exact topic, Alice Marwick, like people that have studied this issue in depth for years and years and years, coming out and saying, hey, we actually do know the cause of some of these broader issues, anxiety, all of these
baggy jeans all day,
other things. We know those causes and they're not related to phones. There's no correlation between those things. And it is just a fact based on the research that we have that is just not a sort of a clear correlation. That's not
Angela. Hey,
to say that Ryan
looks like you missed some fun.
There they are.
Ugh.
Oh, God.
I have to say, this is one of the heaviest episodes I think I've ever done.
Gosh, you have to read her piece. It's kind of long and I don't want to mess it up, but all sorts of things. I mean, 1 in 6 kids is growing up below the poverty line. Like, I don't know, just all of these other things that kids are dealing with. Like they're growing up in a pretty stressful world and they're told, just the way that I was told that video games were, destroying our lives back in, when I was growing up, we had the video game sort of panic where people were like, oh, these kids spend hours and hours on the video games. It's destroying their mental health. It's making them violent. Like we've seen these moral panics play out over and over and over again. That doesn't mean that everyone has a healthy relationship with their phone and you shouldn't worry. What we know is that the way that you are can often inform your behavior. So if you are already depressed and you go down a rabbit hole, that can exacerbate it or whatever. But it is sort of like, it is more a symptom rather than the problem. And then when we're treating it as the problem rather than the symptom of the problem, we don't ever get to address the sort of core issues. And often, and there are core issues that sort of lead to these mental health issues among children. And that, again, that does not mean that they should be able to sit on the cell phones all day. But what I would say is a lot of this moral panic is tied to content. So
No. Okay, I can see where this bad take's coming from.
You'll see these.
All right.
People saying like they're going to sit on TikTok all day, right? They're going to sit in class all day. Like,
does Taylor have kids
on TikTok? And the concern is more about the content and the sort of villainizing of short form video content.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say I don't disagree with you because you shared a Substack that's been going pretty viral. I think from somebody who like disagrees with you on a lot of different things, and someone had sent that to me separately as well. And it's about how the argument is that these bans are a way to shoehorn sort of content bans. And I don't actually disagree that that's probably the case with some people. That it's kind of a gateway to age verification laws and certain things that do genuinely encroach on civil liberties and creativity and freedom and all of that.
Yeah, but phone bagging and making sure that they can't go at, like their attention doesn't divert in class isn't a bad thing.
I want to get your take though on, I'm looking at, I have 3 studies pulled up, one from PLOS ONE, one from Scientific Reports, and this other one is from, I
just want to say, before you pull up any studies, we have to look at the body of research and we have to look at how, and I can't speak to these specific studies.
Sure.
But what I would say is that all of the top researchers on this topic, this specific topic, got together last year and issued an 82-page report surveying the overwhelming amount of sort of studies on this topic and debunked a lot of misleading studies pushed by this man, Jonathan Haidt, which is sort of the most popular person.
Right, I'm not even going to get into Haidt here. The other one here is from the Journal of Association for Consumer Research, and I'm not an expert on this, so I'm just saying these are studies not about anxiety or any of that. This is a study that shows, and this is particular to the phone ban issue. I think it's salient. Separately, that show the kind of brain drain phenomenon. I think we all probably feel this intuitively, or maybe you disagree, which is that as you're doing studies, even having a phone near you, even if it's like flipped down, reduces cognitive capacity. And so on the question of whether or not it's proper for a school district.
I remember one day that I went phone free, and this was recent because I wanted to do an experiment. I felt so anxious like in the first hour, but after that hour, and I just like I was able to kind of reset and recalibrate. Went for a nice long walk, and then once I got back, I didn't have to like go right to the phone. It was honestly, it was freeing.
To say we're locking these guys up in yonder pouches from the beginning of the school day to the end of the school day, it seems to me that addresses the very specific question of whether kids' cognitive capacity is harmed while they're learning because their phone's in their backpack.
Yeah, but like these studies are so dubious. Like often these are industry studies, like or they're funded by people with specific political agendas, like et cetera, et cetera. You also have to consider this
I
is
can
not
say that about the big tech funded studies that go in the other direction.
But there's
too.
tons of non-big tech funded studies, and again, you have to look at the overwhelming body of research, and the overwhelming body of research simply
the
does not
cognitive capacity question. What about the cognitive capacity question? In
the
specific?
cognitive capacity question.
I don't think we need a law for this. I think that school policy should be enough. I think that I might have missed the fact that this was like an argument for laws.
Is a good question, but here's the thing that you have to consider.
I thought this was for school policy. Whoops.
All of these school districts are different. And this is, again, I'm not saying that this means kids can be on their phone all day in class. I'm just against these laws where certain places you put the phone away, but you're on a laptop.
Yeah, so this is where I kind of agree with her.
Really high functioning, great laptop,
Yeah.
and that's totally fine. And you're sort of connected.
But then again,
a lot of school districts, the phone is the only word processor people have. When you start to block them away,
okay, realistically, and you guys can answer this one. Do you think the school districts would just collectively kind of get behind this? Because don't most schools see this as an issue? I would see this only being a wider issue if they don't have funding for the solution, like the bags and all that.
15% of kids are disabled. A lot of kids use these as learning aids. And I know that's hard to believe, but a lot of times the phone is the only sort of computer that kids have in school. And we haven't even gotten into this yet, but
that's also detrimental because they should be learning, PC skills.
Because of big tech.
I saw a meme recently where it was like the Muppets, and it's Gen Z and Gen X hugging, and then it's Kermit coming in to save the day, and it's like millennials showing up to fix the computer.
Tech lobbying and other things.
I'm like, I feel that.
We have had, and because we just are trying to prepare kids for the modern world, we have integrated technology into every part of the learning process. And so sort of and just our lives. And so sort of take this one piece away without addressing and without having any funding. These laws don't come with like funding initiatives or whatever to fix the broader infrastructure. It sort of just leaves kids less prepared.
Guys, hit that like button if you haven't already. The Brigaders are definitely hitting the stream.
I would also say we want to teach kids restraint and control. We want to teach kids. What we don't want is for them to go off when they're 18 to college and not know how to self-regulate their own technological use, right?
You know what's funny? Even if I did talk just like wrestling or something, they would still do this shit.
We want to give them a safe environment where there are guardrails, where they're not allowed to sit on the phone all day long, but where we can teach them restraint. Otherwise, you're just prolonging the inevitable, because phones, as much as this political...
But how? Like, that's where I'm kind of like, what? Then what's your solution?
For is trying.
Like, honestly, the bags are a good solution.
Are not going to be banned from public life, hopefully anytime soon, for adults or the workplace. And so
they are already doing that. They're banning like earphones or earbuds and shit like that.
We want to encourage a healthy relationship with tech.
Thank you, Lynn.
That makes sense.
It always has struck me as odd that schools are filled with all of these different electronic devices, and they focus on this one thing.
Yeah, most of them have a tablet issued to them. Yeah, I was about to say, wait a minute. I know for a fact that my nieces have that, where they have school-issued tablets.
So on the other hand, you don't think there's... So what, from your perspective, what do the studies say about the effect of screens on developing brains and on kids?
Yeah. Well, there's a big question, right? Because you have if you talk about screens on developing brains.
Yeah, I'm not against her position. Her position is mainly against the law. Yeah,
I want to put one.
This is where it is like, I don't know. It's the finer nuances where she's kind of losing it.
Rolled in front of a screen all day, like YouTube all day or something. But overwhelmingly, I mean, I think Candace Odgers has really just been the best, and I encourage people to seek out her work. And Alice Marwick. These are two brilliant researchers that have really spoken about this at length. But this idea of screen time and the panic over screen time is just very imprecise. And the reason that the studies don't show anything is because it completely depends what your screen time is. You could be using your screen time to consume content that is making you feel bad or something, or you could be using your screen time to text your friends and be creative and make creative work. We want people to do the...
I mean,
we want to teach...
She's not wrong, but I just kind of was like, oh boy, my screen time is...
Teach kids to use their phone.
I had to... I had an optometry thing. I had to let them know how much time I'm on screen, and I had to I just looked at my stream. I'm like, well, okay, so collectively, or maybe about 6 to 8 hours a day.
Phone in healthy and creative ways. And when we tell the kids, especially when the primary way that kids use their phone is through texting, the primary way that kids use social media is actually DMing with each other. It's not scrolling the feed. Adam Massari came out and even said that. So we don't want to villainize communication.
Yeah, kids know about phones, but they barely know how to use a computer.
We want kids to stay in healthy.
I think everything is apps. My bro had a school. Yeah.
Productive communication with each other and not bully each other and have positive experiences with each other and have social interaction. Especially,
these kids don't know how to use a URL. Oh, you are what?
Queer kids, kids that are from marginalized groups who rely
kids these days
on these online connections a lot more than other kids. But we just want to give them a healthy way to do that and teach them boundaries. And the best way to do that is to teach it to them when they're young, not to completely ban devices until they turn 18, and then it's a complete free-for-all. It's just that's not an effective way to teach anybody healthy media consumption.
What about parents who, let me try this one out. What about parents who say they don't give their kids phones, they don't want their kids to have phones, they worry, they read the studies differently, they have a different perspective on it, and they don't want their kids to be exposed.
I think she's overcomplicating her arguments, but I'm with her on her core positions. Yeah, that's
to phones at all.
Same.
So the bans then allow those parents to allow their kids to have a phone-free childhood without then getting shown something in between classes that actually, from the content perspective, may be harmful. Maybe take your example of maybe it's a queer kid and someone shows something on the phone between classes that is harmful to their mental health, and their parents want to be able to prevent that. Why not allow parents to let their kids make that decision for their own kids? Because you can't control that between classes.
No, but what I would say is that you should be careful with that decision. We know actually that the mental health of kids that have the smartphone sooner is actually more positive. Like they have better mental health because they're able to get in touch with friends. And ironically, it's also been found that poorer kids have access to phones much more easily than richer kids. So it's not explained by, income. And that is because they're able to keep in touch with friends. There's a study that came out that recently found that as well, that kids actually spent more time outside with friends because they were able to make plans. So you want kids to be able to communicate with friends. This idea of this phone-free childhood, again, we live in a world. I know that there's these political efforts. The people that are selling the phone-free childhood idea, they're also pushing a lot of other reactionary political efforts that would censor adults from content too. They want to go to a world before phones and before the internet.
I admit to that.
Yeah, me too.
And guys, let me tell you, there's a lot of...
Honestly, I'm with Taylor on this one. The nostalgia for those days is also dangerous, and that will put us at such a global disadvantage if you cannot learn to work with this technology. This is weird, where I'm in between, obviously, the Elon Muskers, where they're just I want a chip in my brain to make it easier to think with AI. And then you got these assholes that are just bikes. We need bikes.
Bad about the internet. And I've written about bullying. And trust me, no one is saying, I just have to reiterate this again, that you should
I want to go back to the days of newspapers.
Have unmitigated access to, your cell phone all day when you're 13 years old. You have to teach healthy internet use. But we live in the world. And if you want your kids...
Yeah, I was about to say, old ass take. I mean,
to be competitive. And if you want your kids to be able to function and have a job and make it through college, you do need to teach them these skills. And I understand the fights that come with it. But the way that we can fight these addictive, algorithms, and I think the problems that a lot of people have with the phones in terms of the content is through comprehensive data privacy reform. You want less addictive algorithms. You want less predatory apps.
Yes, that's it. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. Where was she exactly really wrong in this?
You want less control of...
Because I'm agreeing with this because, again, it's the algorithms. It's if you want to focus on this, then pressure the tech companies to change the algorithm to allow you to actually, I don't know, go to some long form content, to promote long form content. God, I remember, you want to talk about a nostalgia? I got nostalgia for the days where every other page was an internet essay that was 4 hours long.
Big tech and more nonprofit driven online spaces that are about community. Join me in advocating for privacy laws and data privacy specifically. That we will never get those laws if this political effort to ban the phones and age restrict everything is successful. Because, and let me just say one other thing. At the same time that they are banning phones, they are, these schools are doing partnerships with surveillance software companies.
Why does Ryan really just come across as the lame dad a lot?
That will
he really is.
Do facial recognition to determine who's allowed to be on campus and who's not, harvesting detailed biometric data on children, all of this stuff that could have significantly worse consequences for them down the line.
I saw a couple of months ago, you write about those studies. that you just referenced, and that was one of the first times where I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. You did a piece about how the studies were showing that kids that didn't have access to phones at all, like, had worse mental health outcomes.
But that's also the collective action, right? Because if you need to have a cell phone to make plans with your friend, it's because your friends
then
also
you're the only
all
one
have cell
left out.
phones. Right.
Right. So,
and I think there's a balance. I just think there's a balance here. And I just think before we jump to laws that will be enforced.
I'll say that, yeah, okay. So, like, now that I've finally gotten to hear her, she's not necessarily wrong about the balance, but but she's also doing this like absolutist argument that I don't agree with.
By campus police officers, we should have a more balanced discussion of what we're trying to achieve and what the realistic trade-offs are, because there are realistic trade-offs here. You know, not to mention the problems with parents and shift work and school. You know, there's just so many down the line issues.
Well, so from your perspective, final question: what should parents do?
Oh God, I think it depends on the type of school that you have, and it depends on your child.
Household EMPs.
Child's educational environment and who your child is and how they're using their phone. I am against.
Actually, I respect the way that my one buddy he has the internet. He's the only one that has well, him and his wife have access to it, so they could just instantly turn off the internet. That it works.
Like,
I gotta say, I was asking him, like, do you ever get a power trip? He's like, occasionally.
I am against, you know, again, just like giving your kid completely unsupervised internet time and unsupervised phone time forever. Obviously, you want to slowly introduce. And the reason I was talking in the first place for free about like child, you know, protection software is because it sort of allows parents to have a little bit more control over their kids' online experience. I think it's good to introduce kids to phones. I think having restrictions, parental restrictions, taking it away during certain times.
Chat, what age would you start introducing phones to your kids?
Times of the day, teaching them moderation and how to work with phones and use their phone in a healthy way and communicate in a healthy way. Is helpful. And just that's broad. The internet, that's the other thing is that like these phone conversations are going to be irrelevant. Kids have Apple Watches, smart glasses. The internet is getting more and more integrated into every
that's not necessarily a good thing though.
part of our life. We're going to have
like Taylor, that's not that's where I'm starting to like be like
So we have to help kids have this healthy relationship with the internet while they're still young.
Ryan is an elder millennial, but as
I was in
junior...
school during the beeper thing, and it was like pitched largely as about drug dealers, and it's like, kind of drug dealers like getting pinged in class?
I hate the. Oh no, are me and Ryan near the same age? No way.
That one. But I was just gonna say, as a junior millennial, my high school was cut in half by the smartphone, and I fully concede to being part of a moral panic, and somewhat proudly concede to being a moral panic. I'm a much different side of this than you are, Taylor, but we appreciate you coming here and making the case and allowing us to have this discussion.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and please don't destroy me online. I'm just trying to add a little nuance to the conversation.
Tell people where they can find your work.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, like, I like the fact that she even said that. She's like, I know that I probably have a pretty it's unpopular.
Yeah, I'm on YouTube at Taylor Lorenz. I have a series.
I'm not a parent, but the instant my kid will be away from me, it shows the ability to think and be responsible.
Series called Free Speech Friday, where I talk about civil liberties concerns and tech policy. So I talk about this stuff specifically, and I'm everywhere else just at Taylor Lorenz.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
As an uncle, I will say that I don't know. The one issue I have is the attention span, where I've noticed it, where it's like, whoa. I tried to show my nephew a movie once, and it was weird. He didn't even have to say anything. His mom just came up to me and was just like, he's not going to watch that. I was like, wait, why? And I'm like, I thought it was the content. I was just like, oh, is it like, you know, is he not interested? She's like, oh, no, he'll like the characters and everything, but it's just, he doesn't have the attention span. Like, Coco Lemon is, again, it's just dangerous. Like, I watched something about that. I'm not even a parent. I just know people that are, and they've all told me the same thing. They're like, no, that Coco Lemon thing is, that's like crack to a kid's brain. And I'm pretty sure that there's studies to show that. Stepping stones, but start them out with dumb phone. Oh yeah. Well, like the hardcore parental mode. I don't know. For just like breaking my takedown, I think that realistically, having phones in those, like the way that they show the kids locking up those bags, I've gone to a few comedy shows where they have us do that. Yeah, you know what? That I'm 1000% with that. Again, I'm not a parent, so like take my my commentary with a little bit of a grain of salt on this one. Because I do think that it helps. It obviously helps with an academic setting. It helps with attention span. It helps with, I remember seeing something like it was a news report where they were talking about like how the lunchrooms became more conversational and like kids are actually like talking now, whereas you would walk in there and it's completely silent. So, but from Taylor's point of view, like the laws banning it and stuff like that, I will say I also kind of agree with that. That's a little much. I don't know. Excuse you, 2015. Oh shit, I just saw your comment there, LT. What do you mean, 2015? God, I hate when I do this. I miss a comment and then all of a sudden I'm lost.
Hey everybody,
I will be going to this video in a moment. Sorry, wasn't so professional. We're supposed to hear that. Oh, when I first introduced a cell phone to my kid. Oh, 2015. Oh. No. I meant like what age do you think is appropriate for introducing? All right. So for instance, I know that like I call them my nieces, they're my goddaughters, but my buddy, he set his where he gave them tablets first with a lot of parental controls. Then somebody said it in chat here where they got their school tab, and he was like, that was pretty good because he saw that was like a lot more limited. And then I think he got them cell phones right around the time they turned 8. And like there's other kids, so should wait till they're at least 18. Oh. 18? Really? Man. Treating cell phones like cigarettes out here. Dang. I think I was one of the first generations to have not smartphones in school, but we had T9 texting, so I was about to say, you're out here fucking regulating cell phones like cigs. That's kind of funny. Although, wait a minute, what am I talking about? Cigarettes are now 21. Man, it's wild out there. All right. Well, let's get a update on the Raja Jackson situation. Getting to the back half hour of the show here. So Legal Mindset tried to do his own video, and I have been sick of platforming that douche canoe. So I decided to look into if another lawyer has given his take on what's going on with the situation. And luckily, you have Jimmy Smith here, who is also a combat sports analyst he knows the industry. So it was kind of refreshing to see that, yes, we have a different lawyer than Legal Mindset to give us a breakdown of why Raja Jackson is likely going to jail.
Hey everybody, Jimmy Smith back once again, this time with the continuing Raja Jackson fallout, this time on the legal side. And whenever I need legal advice, you know where I don't go? I don't go to the YouTube comments. I go to Patrick Donahue, good friend of mine, also Carlson Gracie Brown Belt here in South Florida. Defender Donahue Law is where you can find him. Defender Donahue, am I wrong?
Yeah, you got it. Thanks, Jimmy.
Awesome. Anyway, so I know you're following this case. You called me like as I was posting my video about this. You're always on top of, combat related stuff. Before we get into any of the legal ins and outs, man, as a human being watching this video, what were your first thoughts, first reactions?
And I'm glad you asked me this because otherwise people would think I'm a monster.
Right.
Something I think about is when we do jujitsu, when I tap somebody, my first thought is, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" And Jimmy, as brutal as a training partner and coach as you are, the first thing you say when you tap anybody is, "Hey, you okay?"
You good?
And
Yeah.
it's human nature to make sure if you hurt somebody to not further damage, right?
Mhm.
And watching this video.
Especially in like training.
Video, watching how he could, I don't understand how anybody could hit somebody unconscious. I can't even choke somebody without feeling like I don't have that dog in me, like I just don't have that. And it's just, that's somebody who can't function in society. That's somebody who needs to be held accountable. And he either needs years of psychiatric help or he needs to go away to prison because that's somebody who can't be trusted in society. If their reaction to a knocked out person is
Absolutely.
to keep hitting them, that's dangerous. It's only a matter of time before he, God forbid, but hopefully this guy survives.
What people have trouble understanding, it was a little bit in the comments. By the way, the people in my comments generally extremely critical of Roger Jackson. I didn't get a lot of people defending him. One or two.
Hold on. LT, hold on. This is totally MAGA chat. MAGA chat, the best chat on YouTube. You're in the Pep Talks chat. Pep Talks, I can tell you all about Pep Talks. Pep Talks is one of the greatest streamers I've ever seen. He has some disagreeable opinions, but you know what? Technically, since I was a Democrat anyway, and you guys fell for it, I used you. I totally used you.
Not
no, it's not a fucking MAGA chat.
a whole lot. It's almost universal condemnation, but
Oh my God, did they actually leave? No way.
this idea, which I tried to explain.
No. I think. Wait, did I misread that? Were they leftist and like they were just like, "Oh, I'm out," because like did they think that?
In the video that why didn't the ref do anything? He's not a real referee.
Whoops.
It's like asking people on stage during Julius Caesar if he really started getting stabbed. Why didn't they do anything? He's kind of like going, this went off script. I'm an actor pretending to be a referee. I'm not a real referee. So the delay and why didn't more people react? The video I saw, by the way, when people said, "Oh, he hit him like 20 times," the video I originally saw was a cell phone video, and it went from the ring to a stunned wrestler back to the ring. So I missed a bunch of the punches. I said that in the video, and people still went like, "Hey, well, more punches than you said." I said I saw 13 plus, which may be 18. The total was something like 21 to 25, depending on what you count. But that shock in the wrestler's face, these aren't fighters, folks. They were like watching a play and it went off the rails, and it took them longer to process than someone who's in the fight world who sees this every time. When someone holds on to a submission too long in a jiu-jitsu tournament, coaches jump on there in about 2 seconds because we're used to this. This happens sometimes and we're all ready for it. These people in pro wrestling generally aren't, and that's why there was the delay.
The moment the impression goes too far.
So I want to explain that. All right, enough of the pleasantries. The legal side of this, the biggest question that was kind of posed by my followers in the comment section was attempted murder, assault, and battery. What's the legal difference? I know you're a Florida lawyer, but you did research California law. What's the line here between attempted murder and assault and battery?
The way to think of this is, and again, thank you for the legalese. Yes, I cannot give legal advice in the state of California, but I'm entertained by this, and I wanted to see what the status was. So the way to think of this is the difference between battery and attempted murder is really just a battery that goes too far. An affirmative step after the harmful or offensive touch, that gets you into a category of, okay, you're actually trying to kill the person. You have the mens rea, the mental state that you want to end this person's life, or you should know what you're doing could end their life.
Brian,
So
what's
when
up,
he
dude?
said, which apparently did online,
Good to see you. Thank you for leaving the like. I'll catch you on another stream.
I'm gonna punch this guy till they pull him off of me. As soon as you say that, are you
doing well, man?
You verging into attempted murder? Because someone might not be able to pull you off before you do lethal damage. You say, "I'm gonna hit this guy till someone stops me." Someone might not be able to stop you until they're dead. Did he really hurt himself with that statement?
I don't think so. And
please tell me why.
A good lawyer will be able to fight this case if any type of case is filed, because you have to remember, in a vacuum, if you say a statement like, I'm going to beat the guy until I kill him, that looks bad. But if you say that as a pro wrestler, where is the line here? What is real and what's fake? I know this sounds
He's not a pro wrestler,
crazy,
though.
but I was thinking about this. This is as if like a magician actually sawed his person in half.
No, it's not. No, wait. You guys are... Oh, God.
Right? Because it's like everybody
No, he wasn't a wrestler, dude. Wait a minute.
expects this to be fake. If you ask people on the street, is wrestling real or fake? The first thing they're gonna say is, yeah, it's fake. So it's like, we're all
No, that's why everybody was... Dude, nobody is questioning this. Everybody knows what happened. We watched a dude get beat half to death knowing what a wrestling match is. Wait, how are you missing this?
assuming this is just a clear-cut case of somebody lost their mind and beat up a wrestler, but why was he there in the first place? Why did they let him in with no security? Obviously, to go back, there's an issue here with consent, and that's the sticking point, and that's...
Man, I don't know. If I was doing like an interview about something like this subject, I might watch the whole thing.
The defense.
There's plenty out there. We covered a lot yesterday.
No matter what he said, the answer is, if this is consistent with his defense, is they gave me the green light to do this, the promotion. I was there filming. They knew that I was filming with my camera crew. The camera angles are perfect. I spoke with the management. They said, make it real. There's, let me back up, because I watched a lot of the videos here of good and bad evidence. So let me tell you what I see, if that's okay.
Please. You're the attorney.
Yeah, what if the magician had a live stream saying, I'm glad I saw that bitch in half. I would do it again. I ain't no bitch.
So he gets there, and we see this video. It's live stream on Kick. And I guess this guy, the other wrestler that he eventually beat unconscious, hits him over the head with like a beer bottle or something.
A can, yeah.
And then there's a conversation.
You are misrepresenting this. I would not, just based off of this alone, it's like, I'm not sure if I would ever hire you, because you don't seem like you do a lot of research.
On the stream, and it's like, hey, buddy, like, I thought we were going to, like, sell this. And, like, they break character. He's like, he apologizes like 3 or 4 times, like, hey, I didn't mean to hit you. I was trying to sell this. Yeah. The wrestling.
The work, yes.
Right.
As we call it.
And he's like, I play along, right? And Jackson basically says, okay, all right, I get it. He breaks character on camera, right? So it's like, okay, so there must be some conversation that this is going to be a fight on stream, right? This is like, that's why they brought him in. Why else would they have him there? And then there's a conversation with, there's a lapse in time, right? So there's no self-defense here. If somebody hits you over the head, you can't hit them 2 hours later and say self-defense.
Right.
If he did this immediately after he gets hits in the head, maybe there's a self-defense claim. So that's gone. There's a cooling off.
Gotcha. Which is another important part. Hey, he hit him. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The lapse in time made self-defense.
You could maybe even make the argument he was battered. Jackson was battered, and then Jackson did another battery. Or attempted murder, however you look at it.
No, again, watch the video. There was a handshake in between it.
So the evidence that's strange, super weird, is Jackson's on the stream, and he's talking to somebody on the phone, and he's saying,
yeah, his dad's calling him an F slur.
They told me that I could hit him.
He's a great father.
And he's telling his stream 50 subs and I'll knock him out. 50 subs. That's how many subs I need to knock him out. Which is like, is that a show? Is that real? Where are we now? And then he gets a phone call, and I don't know if it's his dad or who's on the call, and he says, they said I could hit him for real. So who's they, and what is this, and what's going on? And another wrestler says to him on the stream, you can get your receipt. And I had to look this up. Do you know what that means as a wrestling term?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I thought with a combat lawyer, this would be better. Oh my God, would Legal Mindset have actually been the guy to go with in this regard? Fuck. Patrick Donahue Esquire. Fail. All right. Poor little right winger on Twitch gotta go. Oh, wait, are you modded over on Twitch? Here. Comment on Twitch and I'll mod you. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. No. Sean, knock it off. No, I'm here just looking at the chat. Well, here's the thing. With this one, I'll say this much. He's been waiting for me to ban him, so... He wants the badge of honor. It is weird. They collect bans like Pokemon badges. I went to Pep Talks gym, and I said some heinous shit, and I got banned. Yeah! Yeah, bro. So cool. So cool.
I didn't tell him to go beat that man. One punch.
Flashback.
When you run in on his shit, you fucking give him his receipt. You remember what a receipt is? Give him that fucking receipt.
Yes, you said... Yeah, that's what a receipt means in wrestling. You give him one punch. The thing is, he's not a wrestler, jackass.
Go tag his shit. If you got a fucking problem with it, I'll fucking run out there. Tag his.
I mean, no, we don't have to watch Thin Lips Squire.
A few moments later.
I ain't gonna hurt him too bad, though.
Knocked him out. Oh my god.
All right, so we got legendary UFC fighter Rampage Jackson's son involved in this incident with the professional wrestler where it seems like he tried to kill the guy. But what's the law? What are the facts? Let me break it down.
Here we go. Here we go. I like the channel more.
All right, so first things first, we're going to start off by looking at the facts of the case. Who's involved, what happened, and we want to get a nice grasp of the whole situation. And for those of you who want more context, the full 1.5 hour edited live stream is in the link in the description. It's an unlisted video, so you can go check that out if you want more context. Then we'll look at their legal exposure, whether they're exposed in a criminal sense or if they're exposed in a civil sense. And then at the end, you tell me, do you think this is attempted murder? Do you think this is simple assault? What do you think is going to happen? Okay, let's start with the players. This is Raja Jackson. He's a 25-year-old MMA fighter and son of legendary UFC fighter Quinton Rampage Jackson. Now, his MMA record is 4-0 as an amateur, and he has 1 loss by decision as a professional. Now, Raja, along with being an MMA fighter, also streams live on Kick. Now, Raja is friends with the man named AJ Mana. He's known as the War Ready Warrior, and he works for a promotion called KnockX Pro. Now, KnockX Pro is an independent wrestling promotion.
By the way, Rikishi, he gave up his ownership stake in the company.
And it's essentially the minor leagues of wrestling.
Oh God, not Kick.
Now, it's founded by ex-WWE star Rikishi. If you remember
the
WWE from the 1990s and early 2000s, you'll know that name. So now the wrestling promotion was having a show, and AJ invited Raja to come and watch the event. Now, Raja accepted that invitation and decided to stream his experience on Kick.
What's up, chat? It's good. No, I didn't go with my pops. How does my head feel? I'm still fucked up. I'm not even gonna lie. It's part of the reason why I didn't stream earlier. I was supposed to stream going to paintballing with AJ, but my head was fucked up. I was throwing up and shit.
Dude, if he's throwing up, that means that's like a grade 3 concussion.
Teammates, Andre, who was on the stream the last time, is having a pro wrestling show, and I told him I'll...
I'm not even sure if there is a grade 3. I've just had it up to a grade 2, and I can tell you.
I will come and support, and then I wanted to bring you...
If you have a grade 2, you should be in bed.
You guys with me, you know what I'm saying?
Now, just for a little context, Roger's talking about his head hurting and him throwing up because he had
That's
a
crazy,
concussion,
man.
and his head is still hurting a little bit.
Yeah.
So that is something we should all keep in mind while we watch this event. Now, Roger goes and meets with his friend AJ Mana, and they go and meet the rest of the wrestlers.
What's up, bro? What's up? Why you look like a stripper at a gay strip club?
Really, bro?
I'm just saying, bro. Like, why you wearing that, bro? You can't wear no long pants or something. You can't wear no fucking long pants or nothing.
Why? I mean, are you scared to even look? God, these insecure douchebags. These insecure douchebags.
Excuse me, bro. Excuse me.
There's man leg. Whoa.
Big crossbody too. What's a black man's idea of foreplay?
This is Reno. Oh.
What's up, Big Host?
Oh, nice to meet you, brother.
You too, man. Come on.
Yes, sir.
I know you remember.
Oh, no. I do it for fun, huh? As Presidente, I hate you. I hate this dude. Worse. Nice to meet you, bro. Nah, you're one of my favorite wrestler here. You're the coolest. Yeah. He's the coolest. Yeah.
Yeah, see, now he comes up. He thinks this is a gimmick.
El Prez whooping my ass when I
yeah.
first started out.
Yeah, I remember that. You're my favorite wrestler because of that. You beat out of him. Yeah. Where's the real McKill at? Where's he at?
You don't need to worry about him. You need to be worried about Psycho Stu.
Psycho Stu?
What, you don't know me?
Hell no. Yeah.
Hey, I think that's a little... Oh, you don't know it? Easy. He's a worker, bro. Calm down.
Yeah, see, he did make a mistake there.
What the fuck was
No mistake. Like that
What the fuck was that?
You don't sell it? Dude, he's not a fucking worker, bro.
So, obviously, I got to pause the video here because Roger was just hit over the head with a beer can, and he is still suffering with a concussion. And unfortunately, the person who hit him with the beer can, his name is Psycho Stu, and Psycho Stu believed that he was part of the show. He saw the cameras, and he thought this was what's known as a work in the wrestling business. Now, to
already much better. Okay, I love this. I'm gonna
understand this incident fully, I have to explain to you some of these wrestling terms that are used behind the scene. Now, a work is a planned or scripted element of a pro wrestling event. It includes choreographed moves like slams, storyline development, and prearranged stunts. Now, that's why
I like how you had two Seth Rollins there.
In this moment, all the wrestlers are saying he's not a worker. He's not a worker. Explaining to Psycho Stu that he's not part of the show. Now, you would have also heard the term "sell it" after Psycho Stu hit Raja in the head with the beer can, and Raja didn't react. He said, "You're not going to sell it."
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
You're good.
What the fuck was that?
You don't sell it? Dude, he's not a fucking worker, bro.
So, what is selling in the wrestling business? Well, selling is the act of making moves look painful and effective, even though they're not. Now, obviously, there was some confusion here, and pro wrestler Psycho Stu apologized to Raja and explained that he actually thought this was part of the show when he saw the cameras and everything.
Apparently, the beer can was a prop. I knew it. Okay, so that means that there was an angle set up. Something is not coming out here. That means that there was an angle and that the promoters intended for this to be used later. Now, was it a failure of communication from AJ to say to or even ask Raja for permission, or was that meant for somebody else and Psycho Stu was confused?
Everything, he thought that they were all playing the role.
Yes, he thought he literally was just like, this is where I'm supposed to like show up, right? Because like he knew that there was supposed to be set up for that night's match. Because again, this was for the final match of the night.
Working.
I apologize.
I appreciate it.
I didn't know. I thought you were at work. You stayed in the camera.
I get it.
We're working out. Well, he's gonna come out on your matches. I know you keep thinking we're working. We're always working.
I get it. Yeah. I get it now.
Yeah. See right here. This is where it should have ended, and honestly, Raja should have just been like, okay, I'm going to go give him maybe like a little tap to the skull, and then just kind of, do some fake ground and pound. Had he done that, this wouldn't have even been a story.
You know what I'm saying, We're always working. So we'll set it up. I'll have him come out during your match so we could fucking seal the whole thing, and we'll make something out of it. You know what I'm saying? All right.
Well, now you just involved fucking Rampage himself, because that's his boy.
No, he can handle it. Hey,
Yeah, I can handle myself. Yeah, I can handle myself.
That thing's gonna come whoop your ass. You don't need his dad. He handle his own shit.
Yeah, I got my own shit. Yeah.
So as you see, the head of the wrestling promotion said, hey, let's use this. We're going to make some more money. Let's put you in the ring. You'll come in during the match, have a little fun, and we'll see if we can sell more tickets, right? Rampage Jackson's son isn't at our wrestling event participating. Now, after all that was settled, Raja's friend AJ takes him to the back, and AJ tells Raja that he should give Psycho Stu a receipt.
He thought he was a pro.
I understand.
Yeah. Another thing is, even when we are working like that, you don't fucking, you know.
That's what I'm saying.
But he doesn't know him like that.
You don't.
No, and this is where he was stirring the pot. And honestly, I think that this was a cowboy hat guy trying to make sure that like that other guy got hit.
Fucking idiot. Hey.
He's a level 5 ass kissing clout chaser.
So when you run in on his shit, you fucking give him his receipt. You remember what a receipt is? Give him that fucking receipt, bro. Tag his shit.
Oh man, I'm gonna go a little late tonight. Probably maybe 10 to 15 minutes overtime.
If
So
you
guys,
got a fucking problem with it, I'll fucking run out there. Tag his shit, bro.
I'll get it there. Hey, as long as I get my
yeah, I'm
back,
definitely finishing
I'm
this.
straight.
So what's a receipt in the wrestling business?
What is a receipt in pro wrestling? Well, sometimes you might hit
I love he got Maven.
your opponent a bit too hard. All a receipt is your opponent giving you a little bit of payback or a lot of payback. During my time in the WWE, I received my fair share of receipts. So this video is going to be ranking them from least painful to the ones I'm still feeling today.
Now, let's recap. Raja has been hit in the head with a beer can. He then gets upset. They all shake hands. He goes to the back and his
Simply Steve, what up?
friend, who's one of the top wrestlers in the company, tells him to make sure he gets him back with that receipt. So Raja now is in front row and he's telling the chat what exactly he's going to do, what type of receipt he's going to give him.
I haven't been playing Fortnite. America's mid. I get the chance to go in there and now really up. It's always been my dream to up a pro wrestler for real. So I get it today. This nigga ain't no fighter, but I'm gonna really have to show him like, nigga, you can't just hit a can on my goddamn face. I'm gonna hit him and I'm gonna take him down. I just don't know which one I should do first. I don't know if I should take him down first and then hit him, or I should hit him and then take him down. I don't fucking know. I'm really going to hit him, I'm telling you. I just don't know if I'm gonna pick him up first or hit him first. I don't know. Because if I punch him and he goes down, then I won't be able to pick him up. I ain't gonna hurt him too bad though. He was drunk. He was pretty drunk, I think. But I will tell you guys this. They told me to hit him and just leave. Somebody who pulled me off of him will leave. I'm telling you.
It was Rampage's phone call, guys. Oh my God, it was totally Rampage's phone call that pushed him over the edge to go and like, oh my God, dude. Rampage is just as culpable. I have to say this. This is insane, especially the fact that this is a father and son.
I'm gonna hit him as many times as I can. Watch. Watch.
Now, Raja's father, Rampage Jackson, calls him and starts making fun of the fact that he is hugging up on grown men in booty shorts and starts teasing his son about that.
Yeah, I'm straight.
I looked at your stream because my chat was going crazy.
Welcome over on Twitch.
And then I
Glad you could join us.
You was hugging on a dude in some damn tights. Man, you said I looked at your stream. You were hugging on some.
He wasn't even in tights. The guy was literally beer belly out in his gym shorts, like I don't know, any dude.
Some booty shorts. I saw you hugging. I saw you hugging on your coach.
No,
I don't got no sexual fantasy, nigga. I got some eyeballs. I saw you.
So now we have all of this backstory.
Why do people have kids when they're trying to birth friends? Like, ew.
His father's telling him, "Oh,
ew,
you're hugging up against men in tights." He feel like he's embarrassed because the guy hit him with the beer can. He's got a concussion. He was told to return the favor, give the person a receipt, hit him for real. And he's telling people, "I'm going to do exactly what they say. I'm going to hit him for real. They told me to hit him until I get pulled off." So at this moment, it seems like everything's going.
Work punches.
Going to go with the plan until Raja gets into the ring.
This is irresponsible because Raja, it does not look like Raja had the chance to even like talk to Psycho Stu about his walk-in. So he didn't even get to work this out. This was all impromptu, and Psycho Stu he let his guard down because he thought that it's like, oh, you know what? I fucked up, man. Like, I might catch a receipt, like he was saying, but he didn't think like anything of this. This is why you let him slam him so hard. Here, right here. This is why, like, you see how he didn't fight? And then knocked out.
Now, I got to pause it here because I cannot show you the punches because YouTube is going to demonetize the video. So we'll just look at it in still shots.
Hey, you gotta stop this shit, man. Stop this shit, man.
Oh, he did bite him. He bit him right there. Damn! He had his teeth in him. Holy crap! All right, wow. When he said he bit him, I thought it was a light dude, he literally had him vampire locked. Holy crap. And then he headbutt him.
Now, Raja's friend, the one who brought him to the event, the one who told him to give the other wrestler a receipt, went on a live stream and had to defend himself because people were saying, hey, you told him to do this. You told him to go beat this guy up. And this is what he had to say.
Fucking explain. Because I was a big part of this shit.
Yeah, you were.
Promoter says, since this is already on camera, and you can go watch it for yourself. Like I said, the tape never stopped running. Since this is already on film, let's go ahead and use it. Let's make it a part of the show. Well, how are we going to do that? Well, I'll give you a chance to go in on during his match, and you know, you get your lick back. You see, I said receipt. I didn't say lick back. I said receipt. You know what a receipt is? Here, I'll do it in pro wrestling terms. I'll do it to myself.
Explain that for the people who
I'll
may
do it.
not
I
know.
will literally give myself a receipt right now. You ready? That's a receipt, bitch. That's all the fuck I told Raja to do. The only thing I told Raja to do was give him a fucking receipt because that's what the promoter wanted to do, to be done. The promoter sent me away with Raja to work out the deep.
Simply Steve, by the way, I just saw that story that you were talking about. That's kind of messed up. Apparently some politician in Fort Collins, Colorado, had to resign because he was recording other women politicians in the state house without their permission.
Details. Watch the video. I didn't tell him to go beat that man. One punch. Y'all dumb as fuck.
Now, this story has blown up on the interwebs, and you have some people saying this is attempted murder, other people saying this is just simple assault. You have a wide variety of opinions here. So let's look at the
what the fuck is
law in this.
Wow. Why is there a debate when he hasn't been locked up yet?
Jurisdiction and see what liability could both Raja have, both criminally and civilly, and what liabilities the wrestling promotion may have for allowing this to occur. So first, we need to know what jurisdiction will have a say in how this plays out. Well, we are in Sun Valley, Los Angeles, California. So that means California law will likely apply to the situation. So what criminal liability is Raja Jackson exposed to? First, we have felony assault with a deadly weapon or by means of force likely to cause great bodily harm. That's California Penal Code section 245A4. Now, in this case, Psycho Stu was punched over 20 times while he was
Not simple assault.
Unconscious. And prosecutors are going to say, well, the force that Raja used was clearly enough to likely cause great bodily harm. That has a penalty from 2 to 4 years in state prison and a $10,000 fine. Another charge that prosecutors are likely going to look at is battery causing serious bodily injury, which is found in the California Penal Code section 243D. In this case, a serious bodily injury is broken facial bones, loss of teeth, loss of consciousness, and possibly choking on your own blood. The penalty for this is up to 4 years in state prison. Now, if Psycho Stu is permanently disfigured, prosecutors will look at something like mayhem, which is California Penal Code section 203, which applies if the person is permanently disfigured. That's a 2 to 8 year sentence. And then we have attempted murder, which in my opinion is going to be hard, if not impossible to prove. That's found in the California Penal Code section 664, and prosecutors would have to argue that Raja intended to kill Psycho Stu. And I'm assuming prosecutors will argue that Raja hit Stu as many times as possible and ignored his unconscious state. Now, obviously, that can get you a life sentence, but there are some special aggravating factors that Raja has to also be concerned about here. Now, the fact that Raja is a trained MMA fighter,
yes,
a professional MMA fighter, prosecutors could argue that this is an aggravating factor. See, courts have found that boxers and trained fighters can be treated as deadly weapons themselves. That's why boxers and MMA fighters have to be licensed. And obviously, prosecutors are going to be saying that this was premeditated. And for evidence, they're going to show Raja talking to people in the chat, explaining to them exactly what he was going to do and what his intent was. Now, if you're an attorney representing Raja, the obvious thing you're going to say is this was all part of the show. He was instructed to do what he did, and he just followed command. Now, Raja's defense is going to be simple. I was told to do this. They told me to give him a receipt. They told me to jump in the ring and hit him. They knew I was not a trained wrestler.
Which then the liability falls on Knox, and that's why it looks like Knox is folding.
Knew that I didn't understand the way the business worked. So I followed directions.
Although AJ is going to be called up, and he might have his own issues.
Went in, hit him as many times as possible.
Not yet. LT, not yet. That's why it's crazy.
Possible until somebody pulled him off of me. That's going to be Raja's defense. And it makes sense in the context because everything that I just told you is accurate based on what we just saw. But the obvious question is the court going to allow this to absolve Raja of any criminal liability? Now, no one's talking about this, but what about criminal charges for AJ Mana? That's the person who invited Raja to the event. Well,
I mean, he said nobody, but Pep Talks just talked about it.
Prosecutors can look at charges like solicitation, aiding and abetting an assault.
Pep talks in the first person. Pep Talks.
That's California Penal Code section 30.
Oh wait, third person. Jesus Christ.
31 through 33. And this goes because AJ told Raja to give him a receipt, which is a real hit. And this incited the assault. He could be facing aiding and abetting charges for this assault. And there's also an element of reckless endangerment here. Think about it. AJ allowed his friend, who is untrained, an MMA fighter, to go into a wrestling match with no preparation, and only directions were to...
That slam was so sloppy.
Slam the guy and punch him for...
Oh, see, right there, he should have known he was about to get fucked up. Because, like, that dip right there, he should have gone like this. He should have protected his head.
Right
here, he shouldn't have been grabbing. That's what he's trained to do. He should have been doing this.
Because he hit you with a soda can or a beer can earlier. And we haven't even touched on the civil liability because I think the wrestling promotion could be civilly liable because the owner of the wrestling promotion told Raja to go into the ring. They knew he wasn't trained. They gave him limited instructions and allowed him to do this to one of their wrestlers. Now, what are some realistic outcomes that we can expect? Well, I think Raja should face felony assault with great bodily harm charges. Now, if Psycho Stu's conditions worsen, then you could see something like a attempted murder charge. And if Psycho Stu actually dies, we're looking at maybe a manslaughter charge. And on the civil side, I think Stu has everybody dead to rights. He could sue Raja personally. He could sue the promotion.
Somebody said it in my Discord that the first words he said when he woke up, because he has woken up, is Get my lawyer.
KnockX Pro Wrestling, right? They obviously have liability insurance, and he's probably got the deeper pockets with the company. AJ Mana could be named, and his personal finances could be at stake because he was the one that was giving direction to AJ to do what he did. So when Stu recovers, he should get a good lawyer because he can be compensated for his injuries based on the situation. So at the end of the day, it's not going to be lawyers who make the decision on liability. It's going to be regular.
Stu gonna get a lot of money. That's for sure.
People sit.
He's getting a payday. It doesn't matter who's paying it. Stu's getting paid.
In the jury box. So what do you think? Let me know. Do you agree that Raja should go to jail for a couple of years for this assault? Or do you think his liability, especially on the criminal side, is mitigated because he was told to do these things, right? He was told to go do these things. He may have...
No, I mean... AJ's cope video was kind of sad because he was just like, oh, you guys are so stupid. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, you talking to the cops yet?
Overboard, but does that in some way, the fact that
he should be in jail? The fact is, like, we saw the text yesterday. I'm not sure if you were here, where they showed the text that there was a group text to everybody that was on the roster, and you had a bunch of guys going like, you got this. You like, I won't say shit. I won't say shit.
That his friend, who was a professional wrestler in the company, told him to go and give a receipt. Or would you say, I don't care about all that. He should have known better. Give him max time. Hit me in the comment section because we'll argue it out. My name is Nate the Lawyer.
No, you won't, but smart. I always like the Philip DeFranco. Like, Philip DeFranco, I gotta say, is like the salesman for the comment section, where he's just like, let me know what you think in the comments. Or let me know what you think in those comments below. Like, he always does kind of make you feel like you might have them read, but I don't know. Sure he will. Yeah, totally. All right, so I want to finish show with something real quick. Here, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to this screen real quick. I'm going to disappear for just 1 second. It's going to take me about 5 seconds, actually. But I want to see you guys off to the AG properly here. Give me 1 second. All right. You guys ready for this? I want everybody here to know how much I appreciate you. Macho Man is so happy that you wanted to hear see the pep talks. Did you hear? You know you did. You got the best of pep talks here. Yeah. I was very excited to. I found my bandana, so I was like, "Oh, guys, I wanted to show you guys." Yeah. Oh, man. I wish I had the pomp and circumstance queued up a little bit better, but... No, for real, guys. I appreciate y'all checking out the show today. Tomorrow is Thursday. Okay, so... Let's see. I think I should be on around 8. It's going to be a later show tomorrow. And then Friday... I got some fun lined up. Sweet. All right, guys. Well, you know what to do. Hit the like button on your way out. Really appreciate it. Sub to the channel if you haven't already. You know, I also appreciate that, but I really appreciate you guys being here. And also, LT, shout out to you, because I know that you are the one who usually is in charge of the raids. So you got, if you can help by getting our fine people over to the AG after I sign off, that would be great. You know what to do, though. Wait until the end of the outro, because come on, who doesn't like Kirk's outro? Everybody loves Kirk's outro. Great stream, Pep. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Man, all of a sudden I was just like choking. No, appreciate you guys. I will catch you all tomorrow. As I said, late stream. Look out for it. And yeah, worst case, I see y'all Friday. All right. Have fun over at the AG. Give me a quick shout out if you can. Also tell them I say hi. I will also be in chat, so actually no. I'll say I say hi. I'll see you guys there. Oh geez, not again. Hold on. Oh my God. It's almost like I can't have a proper outro.
Who the heck is Pep Talks?
I'm not gay, but I fantasize about Marco Rubio. Pep Talks. Pep Talks. Pep Talks. Let's eradicate the Kung Flu. I'm literally coming. Pep Talks. Pep Talks.
Who the heck is Pep Talk?
They want our women. They want our children.
Pep Talk.
Sometimes no means yes. Grab them by the pep talk. Grab them by the Marco Rubio. Obama is a racist.
Pep Talk.
I'm literally coming. I'm literally coming.
Pep Talks.
We found weapons of mass destruction. My fellow Americans, it has been confirmed today from Pep Talks that we are indeed all high on politics.